Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
And now,
your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Tuesday to one and all. However, you may be listening / absorbing the show over the air. KSLSports.com, the YouTube, and shout out to our friends from the future if you are listening via podcast. How's it going over there, Ben?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I still uncomfortable with absorb, but whatever. I'm a team guy, so
intravenously
I'm
taking in the show.
Intravenously?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that any better.
No, I'm done with intravenous things.
But I like things.
that?
I like things that are unique to us. You know, obviously, I like language that is unique to the show.
Sure.
I'm just struggling with absorbing, but maybe I'll get there. I don't know. You know, it's
been a while.
Yeah, it's been here. That's really true. Congratulations, Ben. It's officially, I think, the driest sports day of the year.
Oh, we've reached. Okay. You weren't excited about the Jazz's Summer League game last night?
Notoriously, no. And you weren't either, so don't give me any of that. Notoriously, right around the All-Star break is like the driest part of the sports calendar. I think it's the day after the Major League Baseball All-Star game is considered the most nothing going on point in the sports calendar. I think for us here locally, we may have reached it early.
Okay.
Because we do have a Summer League game to talk about, but are you really excited to jump into that?
As long as Trey Alexander, the Jazz's two-way player, is okay. He got hurt in a very weird fashion driving to the basket yesterday and then had to be carried off on a stretcher despite the fact there was no neck or head injury. It was something on his side. And I hadn't seen an update on it last I checked. And the sad reality is, as we've seen with two-way players before, if you get hurt, they just cut you. You're not on a guaranteed contract, so they don't care that much. They care about you, the person. They want you to be okay.
But they don't.
But the second you are eating up a roster spot and taking up money that they don't need to be paying and can use elsewhere, they will find a way to use elsewhere. So for Trey Alexander's future, I hope he's okay.
It's grim.
It's not great.
Again, you were really in a hurry to talk about that?
No, but there's kind of the only thing going on that felt slightly pertinent.
Really excited to dive into the lack of future in the cold NBA.
He had a whole week where he couldn't bring us down.
Yeah, cutting hurt players. 206.
I'm day two.
It's a cold world.
Yeah.
It's a cold world out there. So there's that, and we can dig into it quite a bit. But I don't know. We've got France and Spain going on in the World Cup, except for neither of those countries are the good old U.S. of A. And Spain is up for one of the dumbest. Well, I didn't even see it, but it was a penalty shot, which I do think how hard it is to score goals in soccer. Doesn't it just cheapen the whole thing by having a penalty shot? You know what I mean? Doesn't that feel like a really severe consequence and kind of the dumbest way to lose ever?
I see what you're saying. The gap between how difficult it is to score in live action and how simple it seems to score with a penalty shot, you're like 10 feet away from the biggest net in the biggest goal in all of sports. And you basically you can probably kick it straight 85% of the time and it will go in. The fact that they ever miss is astounding to me. Now, again, I never played organized soccer. This is going to sound like boorish American who doesn't pay attention to high-level soccer, and that's very accurate. But, yes, the fact that they ever miss is crazy. But you're right. The penalty of committing a foul in the box to get a free kick or a penalty kick, I should say, is so egregious. It would be if, like, on a holding call in football, like, automatically put the ball to 1 yard line.
Yeah, I was kind of
wherever the holding call happened.
I was kind of basketball thinking if you get fouled in the circle, you get a 30-point foul shot.
Yeah, right. And you get 3 tries.
Yeah, you get 3 cracks at it.
It's so aggressive. It's so punitive.
Yeah. The punishment does not fit
the crime.
The overall feel of the game, at very least. You know, isn't part of the appeal of soccer. The almost Game of Thrones like pedestrian pace that leads to the culmination. Isn't that what all the soccer nerds out there always tell you? Well, it's the nuance and it's the build and the culmination of the goal. That's all part of it. But much like the last season of Game of Thrones, where they just put everything on fast forward, it ruined that whole series. I feel like a game coming down to penalty shot or a goal coming is exactly like fast forwarding through the end of Game of Thrones, where it took 3 seasons to walk 10 miles, and then all of a sudden
Arya has a sword. It's fine. It's all gonna get taken care of. We're gonna wrap it up.
Totally ruined the like appeal of that show. Its pedestrian nature was part of its appeal. I'm told that's the case with soccer, and yet when penalty shot, it's over. It's done.
I like in the NHL, specifically the Stanley Cup playoffs, that you don't go to PKs or penalty shots. You know, at the end of the game, the shootout. You have to win it in overtime. You have to continue to play. I get it during the regular season. Those games can go on forever, and they go to the shootout if you get past overtime, and they don't make it drag on forever. And generally the games end in overtime relatively quickly because there's so few players on the ice.
Well, they used to have ties, but they reacted
I'm very glad they fixed that.
They reacted to the Americans don't like ties narrative and put in the shootout.
Which is good. But it is still relatively hard to score on a penalty shot or in a shootout in the NHL. Goalies are very good. The net's very small. Not as difficult in soccer, so you're right. It's just a little too easy. I don't know if they need to move the PK back. 2 goalies. I don't know. Smaller net. Something to make it more difficult. So, yes. But then again, I also understand you don't want everyone just tackling any player that gets close to the goal in soccer.
See, I think, once again, the solution can be found by leaning the other direction. Anything goes in the box.
Okay.
Not
sure.
Like go the entire other way where anything goes. I mean, you know, go right for their legs, go right for their knees.
So
punching, elbows, all of it.
But nobody ever scores.
I don't know, because they might get a little bit better of not scoring in the box. You know what I mean?
Sure. The 3-ball.
Yeah, right.
In the NBA.
You're going to change it.
Develop.
You're going to change it up a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
All of a sudden, those crosses in the middle get a little deadly. You got to figure out another way to get it done.
No one's throwing across the middle of the field anymore.
Yeah.
In football.
That's what I'm saying.
Everyone's just getting absolutely dominated. So I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you've got to be able to kick it from 40 yards out.
Yeah, right.
At a pinpoint.
Figure it out. Be more entertaining.
Sure.
You'd have, more of an enforcer role on the defense. That's for sure.
Sure. Or just everything goes, period, inside the box.
Yeah.
Meaning handball, if you need to press that
like
thing
it turns into rugby all of a sudden?
Yeah, everybody can do everything.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, if you're saying the defense can just absolutely obliterate the offense, well, then the offense needs to have something to counter.
They can pick it up and try and Marshawn Lynch it.
Yeah,
in,
right,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Rugby style, yeah.
All right, well,
I don't hate it.
We're fixing this sport
spitballing
one step at a time. I think it's more than spitballing. Call that FIFA guy.
Okay.
I don't know if you have the money to get something like this through, but he seems amenable.
Yeah, I'm curious. What's like the entry-level bribe? And
well,
what do you get?
I don't know.
Because there's like host country is a big bribe.
Big bribe? Oh, yeah, huge bribe. Well, am I the only one that was very suspicious about the financial motivation to rescind the red card?
Red card?
After a meeting, everybody got hung up on a phone call with President Trump and, whatever. But there was a meeting that took place with the head of U.S. Soccer, and their biggest donor actually had a meeting with FIFA. And I just thought to myself, it took her long, the donor, huh?
Suspend the suspension.
That's all right. Well, you got to know what game you're playing.
I do like that FIFA makes no bones that clearly there's some corruption going on.
Well, they've been pretty unashamed of it for quite some time.
Yeah. Just get old man Mandela on a plane.
Fly him on over.
We can get the hospital bed in the plane.
And it is really, and if you look into some of those documentaries and stuff that's out there, it really is a culmination of a lot of very corrupt people. There's a lot of very corrupt people.
It's probably hard to operate corruptly individually. But when you get a gang going, it gets a lot easier.
Well, it's just part of the problem. I like where we're starting today. Part of the problem is a lot of these countries every country has a single vote, right? So a lot of these countries that do not even compete really at the World Cup level still have a FIFA vote. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to slander any country, but like a small
Canada.
No, I'm thinking like the Bahamas have the same vote as Canada. It has the same vote as the U.S. And so when you're whipping votes, maybe you're the representative from the Bahamas is a lot more amenable to persuasion, if you know what I mean.
My vote is for sale.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that vote matters as much as Spain and France.
Correct.
And so, what surfaces are the people who know how to play the game. And it's unfortunate. But you wonder how ideas like, hey, let's do the World Cup in Qatar. And somebody said, that sounds like a great idea.
And then, suddenly,
wait, do they
groundswell of support.
Do they have any facilities?
No.
Oh, no.
Do they have the ability to create facilities safely? Oh, no. It's gonna kill lots of people.
Require a lot of, let's just call it
sacrifice.
A lot of, bargain labor.
Okay.
A lot of bargain labor. We're going to import that bargain labor, and we'll be ready to play the World Cup in the heat in no time. You're going to love it. Everybody's going to have a great time. Aren't there a lot of other countries out there that have the infrastructure ready to go?
Already. Beautiful facility.
You're going to love it. You are going to love it.
Shouldn't cost us anything.
Remember when they bushwhacked Budweiser at the last second before that World Cup because they didn't tell anybody that there was going to be no alcohol at all at the World Cup, and they've got all this, beer sponsors and all that stuff, and they didn't make that known to the world until a week before it started. And as we saw, soccer fans enjoyed to consume their beer.
We didn't talk about this because I was gone for a week, but I went to the Summer League game for the Jazz a week ago Saturday, and they were selling beer at Huntsman Center.
I know. Wait, I don't know how they're getting
the rules.
around.
I don't get it.
My buddy Brandon was going to Monster Jam on the 4th, and he said they were going to have beer at the thing. So I don't know. Speaking of bribing people, maybe they bribe the right politician. Absolutely. I don't know how they're getting around that whole thing. Well, is it going to happen for football games?
If you need the money, and they need the money, so I would say go for it.
That's the sweetest plum.
Absolutely.
A lot of markup there.
Yeah.
And motivated people like Christian are going to pay those high rates, even though one beer at a sporting event represents, 35% of Christian's monthly salary?
Yeah, and if his wife has a drink, you guys are in trouble. Speaking of which, happy anniversary to you two.
Thank you.
Is that today?
Today, 3 years.
Do you have plans?
Yeah, I might try to go out to dinner.
All right. Taking the baby?
No. Because of my schedule when I usually get home, that's about the baby's bedtime.
Okay.
Really?
So, yeah. So, the start of his bedtime routine.
It's like when Jake goes to sleep.
I know.
6:30.
You guys are old.
7:30.
I love going.
It's like the bell curve, You go to bed early when you're really young and really old, like you guys.
Well, and he's probably sleeping in 4 different cycles all day long.
Correct.
You know what? You've been separated from your newborn years for a while. You forget how they don't sleep long, and they sleep in cycles, but yet they somehow sleep 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
In the most inconvenient way possible.
Like 18 one-hour naps a day.
Right.
How'd you do that?
And I don't know, is your wife pretty regimented about the sleep thing? I know my wife was for our first.
She is, and honestly, he is too. We were joking this morning, actually. It was his nap time's at 9:30. At 9:31, and he started getting cranky. And we're like, okay, nap time.
Soon you will evolve into Benadryl milkshakes.
Mm-hmm. You, not the baby. Just so you can.
No,
forget it all.
I think you have to wait until what, at least 18 months before your first Benadryl milkshake. I don't want to, consult the doctor here, but that's when you really, it's been a long day.
What's the other sleeping pill they give to kids?
Do they give kids sleeping pills?
No, but a lot of parents do.
Like melatonin?
Melatonin, that's right. Yeah.
I used to take that. It gives you crazy dreams.
That's what I've heard. I've heard people don't like the dreams. So.
I honestly wouldn't call myself a great sleeper, but I am very hesitant to depend on something for sleep.
It's the reason you don't see us putting chapstick on the YouTube stream.
Yeah, exactly.
The second you start using chapstick, you've got to have chapstick for the rest of your life.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very hesitant about that. I've known people that...
yeah, it's a crutch.
That
now, there are people who feel that way about deodorant, and I do wear deodorant for your guys' sake. So,
hit and miss. Depends.
Yeah, okay.
Did I remember?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I wear deodorant a lot more now than I did.
When?
I don't know.
When did this change?
My 20s were pretty deodorant
Pretty
free.
stinky.
Yeah.
Okay.
And strange, I was single. Really funny how that
I don't
worked.
know, fellas.
Did you ever sit down in class in college and have somebody sitting next to you get up and move? That happened to me once.
Oh, okay.
But that was during a strange time in my life.
Embarrassingly, I have, at a Jazz game, text Jazz PR, shout out Danny Franks, and asked, do you think there's unused deodorant anywhere in this building I can use? Because sometimes you just come to work and you leave and you realize, oh, I stink.
Oh, yeah.
I just smell terrible, and I feel like I'm going to be hot and stinky the rest of the day. And they try their best, but they're not going to go through the players' lockers to find me deodorant. Sorry, Jaren Jackson Jr.
That'd be weird.
That'd be weird, but then I feel really self-conscious about it.
Christian strikes me as a share deodorant kind of guy.
Okay.
With who?
I don't know, just anybody.
Wherever you can find it.
Yeah.
You use spray or you use the stick?
Stick.
Yeah. You?
Do they even make spray anymore?
Oh, yeah. My wife uses spray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
What's Julia rocking?
Stick.
What
Stick.
a great way to start the show.
We said it was a slow day.
Oh, super slow. The French trying to get back into this one against the Spanish.
No, notorious. Not a lot of deodorant.
Either country.
Yeah, perfume.
But not the other.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been to Spain. Oh, Spain just knocked down a second one.
2-0.
The frogs are going down. Wasn't everybody saying that France was going to win this thing going away?
JP yesterday told us the France B team could win this.
Wow. John
Right.
Paul is so wrong.
Well, we'll see. Argentina erased that 2-goal lead from Egypt in the last 10 minutes of the game?
Yeah, Mbappe is feeling pretty good about
See
it.
how-
He's calling everybody back in, rallying the troops.
Yeah, we'll see how they do.
Will he check himself out like the pointy-faced Norway guy?
Holland?
Yeah, didn't he check himself out?
I don't know if he was tired or what. But...
Well, we all get a little tired. Just ask Wemby in the finals. Got a little tired.
Yeah, ran too
A
much.
little fatigued,
Yeah.
a little tired. So let's let him off the hook, all right? French, obviously. It's been a long tournament. They're in Dallas. It's hot down there. I was there last week.
We played more games than most people.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right, we will do top 3 stories of the day, whatever they are. I'm assuming the Jazz will be included in them, so we will talk about that summer league on a. Maybe we'll bring up the injury again. That's a good tease.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Now at McDonald's, wake up to a $4 breakfast meal deal. Wake up to a sausage McMuffin or sausage biscuit, to hash browns, and wake up to a hot coffee. Get your $4 breakfast meal deal.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. There's that weasel head of FIFA. I don't even know this one's name. Why do they have to look evil?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Why do they have to look like they're evil people?
Some conglomeration of, bad guys.
They look like Batman villains.
Yeah, correct. They look like Lex Luthor a little bit. I know that's not Batman.
That's still in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Which
Have they ever met Batman and Lex Luthor? Get on that, Christian.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you answer me this? This is a real nerdy question, but isn't Superman way older than DC Comics? Like, they were making Superman TV shows in the 20s.
I think that's when the first comic book came out.
Is that when the first one came out? Maybe it wasn't the 20s. It was black and white, though. Old enough to be on Nick at Night. But has DC Comics been around that long?
The first Superman was 1938.
Okay.
So maybe a little more modern than I thought.
Huh. Christian, are you too young for Nick at Night? I'm sure you are.
I caught the tail end of it.
All right. Nickelodeon would go to all old shows at night. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid, it was like, it was like old shows, like Dobie Gillis and F Troop and that original Superman.
Yeah.
And then they evolved, and all of a sudden, like, Friends was on Nick at Night, and it didn't make any sense. But when I was a kid, it was old
throwbacks.
shows. Yeah. By the way, Spain leading 2-0.
Almost up 3-0.
Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. That is brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, the Jazz win with no DP in Summer League.
Well, this is why Summer League doesn't matter, as you mentioned.
It does not.
Because Caleb Wilson did play for the Bulls as number 4 overall pick and has looked very good and shot well again last night from the three-point line, which was his big question. And the Bulls were down 20 the entire game to a bunch of relatively random players who, a couple of them are 10-day guys, a couple of them will get some two-way contracts, but not a lot of A-plus.
I wasn't all that impressed with Caleb Wilson. But it's a one-off game. He looks like a hero one game and pedestrian the next.
And
That's
they're 19,
why Summer League truly does not matter.
I had remembered this. Well, obviously, I'd written enough about him during the pre-draft process that it was in my brain somewhere, and I'd forgotten it last night and then watching the game. He's older than Ace Bailey. You do forget some of those things. Like, Ace is super young. Caleb was still only a freshman, but was a year older coming out of high school than even some players in last year's draft. But yeah, these guys just take forever, and even that forever means like year 2 or 3, he's going to start to really impact winning. But, Darryn Peterson is good. I love some of the things I've watched him do. He should be the 5th best player on the floor for the Jazz most of the time.
This year.
Mm-hmm. 3 years from now, if he's the 5th best player, the Jazz are in the lottery again, and that's a real problem.
Well, that's an interesting thought. It depends on what role he is given or what role he takes and how early. Because I don't know. Do the Jazz have a true number 1 scorer? And the answer may be Lowry, but I'd almost take him off the board because that's not really what I'm alluding to. He needs only a few touches, and he's strongest when he's doing catch and shoot, although his go to the basket game got a little bit better. But he's not necessarily what we're talking about, right? Yep. Is he like Ace Bailey, where he kind of eases in? And part of that wasn't Ace's fault, but it's one thing I actually did admire about him last year is he did not come in with some ego like, this is my team now. What role? Donovan Mitchell arguably was the team's best player by halfway through his rookie year, but I would argue that he wasn't the team's best player, but he played a role that was necessary. There was no other player on that team who was going to be a 20-point-a-night guy. No, everybody loved Rodney Hood, but it was never going to happen.
Right.
Who else on that team? It's not going to be Joe Ingles.
Lauri Markkanen averaged 26.7 points per game last year. So he technically didn't qualify, he didn't play enough games, but this is the leaderboard for points per game scores in the NBA last season. Luka Doncic 1, Shea 2, Anthony Edwards 3, Jaylen Brown 4, Tyrese Maxey 5, Kawhi Leonard 6, Donovan Mitchell 7, Jokic 8, Devin Booker I think 9. Let's see.
Wait, this is scoring per game?
Scoring points per game.
Okay.
Lowry actually would have been just ahead of Jalen Brunson, just behind of Devin Booker. I think everyone understands what you were saying when Lowry does not play the way any of those other guys play.
No.
Every single one of those guys is a dribbling player. They dribble and they score. Lowry does not dribble. Luka dribbles and scores. Shea dribbles and scores. Anthony Edwards dribbles and scores, et cetera, et cetera. So down the line. Lowry needs to be set up for the most part. Now he's coming off of dribble handoffs, and he's springing to the corner, and he can get shots.
His dribble drive game got better last year. It became a thing.
But he's not these guys.
No.
He's none of these players. So, to your point, while he is capable of leading a team in scoring, he's not your traditional leading scorer on all of these teams, minus the, I think, Phoenix Suns that I just mentioned, that were playoff teams. So, yeah, do the Jazz have that player? Do the Jazz have that guy? And is that what somebody like Darryn Peterson's going to evolve into? I've told you I am not ruling out Keontae George getting up to 28 points a game. Part of the reason being this is a problem for the Jazz is that if you had to pick somebody on the Jazz's roster right now that was most likely to play this same way as some of those guys I just mentioned, Key is probably the answer because he can dribble and get to his own shot. Now, whether or not that means that's a good outcome for the Jazz, I don't know. Yeah, but he might just naturally fall into it.
I don't know if he's good enough to play that way.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see.
Oh, and you know what? Maybe Darryn Peterson is better at it than Keontae George is 6 months into his NBA career. Maybe by February or March, that's the role Darren's playing, and he's ready to go. And then by year 2, he is the second or first best player on your team.
You mentioned that Devin Booker was one slot better than Lowry, right?
One spot behind. I think he was at 26.1, and Lowry was 26.7.
Okay, do you want to know what Devin Booker's usage was?
32%.
32.2.
Okay.
You want to know what Lowry's was?
Huh, what was it?
28.1.
That's awesome.
Which is so significantly
so awesome,
less. You know who he compared to on a usage front on the Suns? This will blow your mind. Dillon Brooks was 28.5.
Yeah.
Dillon Brooks has a higher usage than Lowry Markkanen. Let that sink in for a minute.
Hey, if Will Hardy and the Jazz coaching staff can figure out how to truly maximize Lowry, which is low usage, high scoring output, there's a special outcome for the Jazz.
Now
because
you're
guys
talking
who score a lot super efficiently without ever needing touches are awesome.
Now you're talking about what made Klay Thompson
Exactly
one of the
right.
most valuable players in the league for.
Exactly
ever.
right. Yeah.
Maybe not the best player on his team, but one of the most valuable players in the NBA for a decade.
Yeah, he was a top 10 player in the league for a decade, easily. He was an all-decade member player, all-decade team player. No question about it. He's also a very good defensive player, which Lowry's not. But Lowry is special. Lowry has a chance to really, really be a unique, high-level contributor on a very good team.
But he and Darryn Peterson or Keontae George are not going to have the same role.
Correct.
But I'll be really curious to see where Darryn Peterson fits into the way the Jazz play. Because I would be really disappointed if all of a sudden the Jazz turned into a ball-dominant, singular, lot of ISO type of team. Because I don't think that's the way Will Hardy wants to coach.
You can win that way. We learned that. Jalen Brunson just won a championship.
I think his adjustments, though, were part of what led to his success.
And actually one of the reasons why the Knicks were so cool in the playoffs and were so successful is because you saw a really productive version of Karl Anthony Towns, probably in a way that might be the idealized version of Lowry when you're winning games, which is he's not dribbling a whole lot, but he's catching and he's shooting and he's spreading the floor and he's making shots, and that's really valuable. So, yeah, I'll be curious how the Jazz organize that. Who takes a bite out of who?
Because there's going to be a little bit of a fist fight for that type of thing.
And it's really easy to give young guys more because hope is easy to sell as a coach. Hope is easy to sell as an organization and say, wow, look at how good our young guys are. Imagine how good they're going to be in 3 years, even at the behest of Lowry Markkanen, who, honestly, Lowry at 28% usage rate, scoring 27 points a game is just an absurd combination. Maybe that's what you need to lean into and rely on going forward. And if you really want to get the most out of whatever this team can be, it does involve Lowry playing that way.
All right, what's next?
Number 2, the NBA is expanding its investigation into Kawhi Leonard and aspiration.
You know what? Shout out to Pablo Torre for pulling this thread as long as he did to really start this, that this entire trade now has been put on hold, and nobody really seems to know how quickly it's going to wrap up. It's been going on for what, 10 months? 8 months? It's been going on forever. And I certainly would have thought it would have been wrapped up by now. I thought there would have been motivation to get it wrapped up by July 1st when the free agency opened. I know Kawhi wasn't a free agent, but that's when the league business opens and people want to make trades. And you would have thought the league would have had to tried to get that done, and I'm sure they tried to get it done, and clearly they couldn't find the bottom yet.
Well, my hard part with all of this is that I'm trying to figure out what the motivation of the league is. Because I don't think justice is what they're after. We've had this conversation a bunch of times. I really don't. I wonder what their motivation is. Are they truly mad at Steve Ballmer because he's a repeat offender? Because they've already punished him for this, and now they're circling back and they have to address it again. But Watchtel Lipton? Is that the name of the firm that they hired?
Something Lipton Cats.
Anyway, they're usually the make it go away firm. That's their reputation. You don't hire these. You think you hire these law firms to let's get some justice. Will you get to the bottom of it? But really, you hire these law firms and they come in and they say,
yeah,
how do you want this to end?
They don't open the present. They gift wrap it.
Yeah.
They hide it.
How do you want this to end?
Yeah.
And I'm having a tough time figuring out what the NBA's, how they want this to end. Because certainly nixing the trade signaled something is coming, specifically a punishment for Kawhi Leonard, or I don't think they would have nixed the trade. Does that make any sense? Because I remember when the trade happened, Ben, we were on the show, and I was talking about, this is so convenient for the NBA. Get him out of the Clippers, turn the page, slap on the wrist for everybody, and everybody moves on with their life. By halting the trade, you're certainly signaling that it's going to be more than that. But I don't know. What's the advantage of that? Making an example, is this that the other owners are actually finally really mad about something? So they're going to punish Steve Ballmer?
My guess is Toronto has recognized they're going to be left holding the bag for something. Whether it's a contract getting void for Kawhi Leonard, whether it's a suspension coming down for Kawhi Leonard that they found out Kawhi actually knew he was circumventing the cap, which, duh. How does $40 million end up in my bank account? Don't worry about it. You planted some trees, remember? No? Yeah. I don't believe that. I certainly think he knew what was happening. He knew he was getting money somehow, and the league is figuring out that he was getting money somehow. And they're, either going to get rid of his contract or they're going to suspend him or whatever it is. And Toronto would be the one that has to pay the price. And Toronto was saying, can we back out of this? But
the NBA halted it. Toronto didn't.
That we know of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have no idea. I'm just the NBA, the leak from Shams or whatever seemed like it was coming from the NBA. So I don't know. Bringing it full circle to your comment about Pablo Torre. Listen, I listen. I think he's done like 9 episodes
he's done a lot.
On it.
Yeah.
And I think I've probably listened to everyone. But and by the way, I've told you that I think there is a space for investigative journalism in sports, and he is trying to fill that to a certain extent. But Kawhi and the Clippers so obviously did it. I honestly don't know how hard it was for him to really unravel everything.
Sure.
Now, he had a bunch of anonymous sources that were in there, and he had people in their marketing department and all this stuff. I mean, it was very thorough. Again, not to take credit away from him, but I cannot believe how flagrantly and obviously they did it. It's one thing to sign a fake sponsorship agreement. Dude, you can send out some tweets or something, or have your assistant do something, or, fake, even if you're being overpaid to do it, you got to at least feign like you're going to do it. And then the company's going under, and Steve Ballmer continues to invest in the company, then gets his partner to invest in the company, specifically enough money to cover Kawhi Leonard's ridiculous sponsorship agreement. Other crazy famous celebrities sponsored by this very same company were getting a 100th of what Kawhi Leonard was getting to do nothing, and they actually did commercials. I just can't believe how flagrantly, can you imagine the arrogance it would take to just do that and expect... We could be sloppy about it.
It's
I don't even care.
It's a little concerning to me that Pablo Torre, who should have zero power in this entire situation, nobody in the NBA answers to Pablo Torre. He's the press.
Yeah.
But nobody answers to him. He can't subpoena anyone or get documents. There's no contract from the NBA or the Los Angeles Clippers that says, we have to hand this over to Pablo Torre. Now, that does happen for the NBA League office. So if the NBA League office and this Lipton, Katz, Weller, or whoever is going after the Clippers or is knocking on doors or saying, hey, we need to see your documents, the Clippers probably do have to give those documents to the league. That's part of being in the NBA. So that might be the concern here is that, as we mentioned, pulling the thread, maybe the league just keeps finding more and more and more with every door it opens, because if Pablo found this much on the outside looking in, actually getting a look behind the scenes might be way worse than anyone realizes.
I don't know. Uncle Dennis. Did you read that he basically fired Uncle Dennis? Or he's gotten new management, so I don't know if Uncle Dennis is out of the way. That was part of my thing why the NBA is just trying to sweep this under the rug. You know, they probably told Kawhi, like, dude, you got to get rid of Uncle Dennis. This is all a bad look.
And like you, where I like that generally your approach to every zig is to zag, he should hire more Uncle Dennis's. He should go
really
Shohei, translator.
The whole thing.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I have somebody else who does everything, and it's their fault. I don't speak the language.
That's funny.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't think they speak French in Toronto, but maybe you can be like, I don't know, I got this French translator.
Sure, yeah.
And that person's...
Or Los Angeles, whatever. Yeah.
Who was it? Man, who was it at the NFL Rookie Symposium? Oh, it was Chris Carter. This is an old story, but he stood up in front of all the rookies and basically said, always have a fall guy.
Yeah.
And I remember it was controversial at the time, but you know what? Probably pretty good advice.
Yeah, absolutely a great idea.
What are you paying that cousin for? Yeah, he's going to take the rap.
One arrest can cost you millions of dollars.
Uh-huh. But
so
you
just
can...
have a fall guy that you pay $90,000 a year and you never get arrested. Life's good.
It's great advice.
Yep.
Controversial.
But accurate.
Effective.
Yeah.
Next.
Number 3. Turns out Ben might have been right about Will Ferrell all along.
The man who never has to pay at Wawa. The Liberty Bell comes and takes photos of him. His beat goes across the Delaware more than George Washington. He has 21 career ejections. Most of the MLB. And hopefully he ejects some balls tonight.
That was Will Ferrell.
That was Will Ferrell. Now, I want to ask you this question. So the home run derby happened.
Uh-huh.
And who was it? An underdog won it.
Jordan Walker.
He beat Schwarber.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not hear of all Will Ferrell because I would not be caught dead watching the home run derby by any means.
Do you have Netflix?
I do.
Okay.
But I saw the reviews that he was quite bad, and that wasn't great. But would you rather? Here's my would you rather for you. Would you rather have Will Ferrell making terrible jokes while watching the home run derby, or Chris Berman saying back, squawking back
over and over
1,000 times because it's the home run derby? Talk about taking a bit and driving it into the ground. Chris Berman was a Sports Center anchor in the 80s and 90s, and then an NFL anchor for ESPN until he blessedly went away. But he still
shows up when he wants to.
Still shows up all the time.
Yeah.
But back when Sports Center anchors would create their taglines, or you know what, and he had some creative stuff initially, and then it all got old. But his call for a home run on the highlight package was back to the wall, and it's gone.
And then he did the home run derby.
But so with the highlight package, he's calling maybe a couple of home runs.
Maybe 6
or
home runs
whatever.
an hour.
It's annoying, but it's not whatever. And then they say, oh, let's put that on the home run derby.
Right.
And then he's squawking back a zillion
13
times.
home runs from one batter.
Yeah. It's like, that's enough if I got 2 home runs in one highlight package. Okay, I can put up with Chris Berman's back crap.
Yeah.
But on the home run derby, are you crazy? Where the whole point, every time someone hits a ball,
there needs to be a little scarcity.
So I might prefer Will Ferrell, who I haven't found funny in 20 years, still to Chris Berman.
I think you're totally right. I think you're totally fair. I did try to tune into it last night because it was between that and the Jazz game. So, because the Jazz game was delayed getting started, and I did try to watch some of the Summer League game last night, which was somehow actually the worst thing that happened to me in the last 2 weeks. But watching, I switched over to the home run derby a little bit, and my wife just said, "What is this?" Because like the NBA dunk contest, forgive my language, it's so bastardized from what it used to be. It is just so not what it seemed like growing up, and probably only ever lived on nostalgia of like, I remember Ken Griffey Jr. doing it. That was cool. It's never been that compelling, which is why they try and monkey with it all the time. And it's just unrecognizable. She's like, so it's whoever hits the most home run in 10 pitches. I'm like, I don't even know the rules anymore. Sometimes you get outs. For a while, you got like extra points if you hit it to extra spots. Now there's a red ball. The last ball you hit's kind of like the last rack in the 3-point contest. And I said, I don't know what it is. I wish I did. I wish I knew what I was watching. But they hit it hard, though. It's pretty amazing to watch how much power these guys have.
See, I think the dunk contest is different. Now, I agree with you, especially trying to jazz it up, and so many cats are in the wall who even knows what you're watching. Yeah. I think the dunk contest is a different thing. Did you ever see the South Park where they made fun of the fact that The Simpsons did it? Mm-hmm. It was like a running bit. Like they came like, maybe if I create a giant sundial and block out the sun. The Simpsons did it. You know, and every idea they came up with. The Simpsons did it. That's the problem with the dunk contest. Is we've seen it all.
Yes.
And there's not anything like Dominique did that.
Right.
You know, there's not really.
No one's about to break out a backflip dunk.
And then all of a sudden we've got Jeremy Evans jumping over paintings. And it's just not.
Right.
It's just because everybody's out of ideas. There's no new ideas anymore. Correct. And now we're just like, oh, okay, well, Blake Griffin dunked over a Kia. And that was 15 years ago.
Right.
That's even old. Now, you know what I mean?
No, I mean to the point where the thing to do now is to lean into the nostalgia. Do something specifically because somebody else has done it. That's the only original idea left.
So, I don't know. The NBA just lived too long for that to be exciting. I would argue the home run derby maybe never was exciting.
Okay. I'd listen.
But you and I were like, oh, you remember when Cal Ripken did that? It probably was never great.
I'd listen.
Okay, more coming up straight ahead. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With Squarespace, you can do more than just build a website. You can build a business. Squarespace helps restaurants and hotels showcase signature offerings and experiences. And with Squarespace, consultants and photographers can create invoices to collect well-earned payments. You can even send email newsletters to keep in touch with your loyal customers. Done. So grow your business at squarespace.com. Get started with offer code MAKEITREAL for 10% off your website or domain.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Open Championship is this weekend. Bob Casper is actually going to be on the show coming up at 3:30 to give us a little preview. But let's get another qualifier. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. You can qualify for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. If you're caller 12, we're going to assign you a golfer in the top 25 of the field. One listener will get the rest of the field. If your golfer wins, then you win a official Copper Rock branded polo, outwear piece, hat, and a $100 gift card. all courtesy of our friends at Copper Rock, where the pros play. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE.
I bought the Phil Steele College Football Bible that he releases every year. And knew this year, I didn't buy it last year, so maybe this was in it last year. Knew this year, at the beginning of the Big 12 section and every conference section, it will tell you which verified people on social media follow Phil Steele, and then he prints their social media handle in the magazine to tell you who follows him.
Okay.
Is this something to be proud of, or is this a shame? Is this a shameful thing to have your name in here? And how much would you spend to get your name in this magazine?
0 is the answer to the last part.
Okay.
I guess I would have to have more care first if to feel
you don't
shame.
buy the Phil Steele magazine either.
To feel shame, you'd have to care in the first place, which I kind of don't.
It has gotten exorbitantly expensive just to buy this magazine.
Well, it's the last magazine anybody buys.
It's the only one on the.
It's
the only one left.
It's the only.
I think
thing
it was probably $12 when I first started buying it. I went to Barnes & Noble, and it was $26.
It's that in the U.S. World Report College's ranking thing, and I think that's probably even gone online.
Who? I won't out everybody, but who at our station do you think is mentioned in?
Well, what does verified mean?
I think you have to pay
Twitter?
for Twitter. I think you have to buy Twitter, which is like $8 a month.
I don't know. PK?
I don't see Patrick Kinahan in here.
I don't think he's. There's no way PK is paying Twitter $8 a month.
Scotty G. Which I didn't know Scotty was.
Well, he's the voice of the Aggies.
But he still has to pay for it. They stopped verifying, or giving you, the true verification just by being a somebody, which Scotty is obviously a somebody. But I'm looking at this list because I saw this yesterday and it was stuck out to me. The only two names I really recognize, certainly from our station, Scotty G and Jake Hatch.
What, do you feel slighted or something, Ben?
No, I don't pay for Twitter. I thought maybe Christian would be on there. Get his followers up.
What's the other criteria?
I think that's it. I think you just got to pay for it and then follow Phil Steele on Twitter.
But
if I would have known that, I would have done it.
Why would shame be associated with it? Are you clowning him for paying for Twitter?
That's one part of it.
Why is that shameful?
Paying for Twitter?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess like I'm certainly not a TalkSnap person,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, there's some like boosting benefits to it and stuff, right?
I don't know.
Like if you're trying to get attention to one of your articles or something like
Sure.
that, I think you get more attention based
Like
on
that?
whether or not you're a verified person.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't
Means you're a
aware.
better person.
I wasn't aware that it was shameful. Is that an Elon thing?
Well,
Mainly, yeah.
Is that what it is?
So
Yeah.
you used
Why are
to
you
get,
supporting him?
You used to get verified by X, Y, and Z process. You could submit for verification, or they recognized, hey, this is a person who, if they're not verified, somebody will make a parody account and try and represent them, right or wrong, and it's actually not great. It's not ideal for the greater good. This person's being misrepresented. So verification solved that process. Then Elon came in and said, yes, you can just buy verification. And then got rid of verification of anybody who wasn't paying for it. And now Phil Steele is recognizing the people who pay for verification.
Well, shame on them.
Them or Phil Steele?
I don't think shame on anybody who cares.
All right. I know you.
I'm surprised that you care. I don't care who's verified or not.
You have hot takes about social media. You seem like maybe the last person on the planet who would pay for social media.
Well, yeah.
And you
I
won't pay for a Phil Steele magazine either. So I was just curious. This is a section of this magazine that is particularly removed from your. You would never accidentally end up here. This is so far removed from the way you live your life and what you value about what you do for a living, what we do for a living, and what this magazine offers.
I hear you, but I also don't. I'm not. What's the social media where everybody does drugs because it goes away?
Snapchat?
Snapchat.
Okay.
I'm also not on that. but I realize that some people are into it.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't pay for Twitter, but I'm not surprised when other people do. Okay. I mean, are you out throwing, what are they, vandalizing Teslas?
No, I don't vandalize Teslas.
Because that's a thing, right? Because people don't like him, so they're vandalizing. I have a buddy, my buddy Lance, who lives in Chicago, was a huge Elon guy, got a Tesla. And then Elon had his journey into politics, and he had to, I can't remember what he did to the back of his Tesla, but had to make it apparent that he was driving the Tesla out of protest.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. But hey, I'm not judging. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Okay, good. That's literally what I wanted to know.
So
did you have an opinion on this section?
No, good for our guy Hatch. Okay. Shout out to Scotty G, voice of the Aggies.
Jake Butt also made the list. You remember Jake Butt, Christian?
Former Bronco. He only has 9 fingers.
Former tight end.
The guy that broke his leg or something in the bowl game and ruined it for everybody else, every fan of watching bowl games forever. Because now all the star players all miss the bowl games. And they go, well, did you see what happened to Jake Butt?
What happened to Butt?
He was going to be like a first-round pick, man. Got hurt in the bowl game. Now he's paying to get into Phil Steele's magazine. Now he's just giving Elon Musk money. All right. We'll have more straight ahead. In fact, we're going to talk to John Auville from the Sports Junkies in D.C. He's going to be back on with us, and we'll talk to him about A.J. Dybantsa and the Wizards and Summer League and all that good stuff. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you to join Scotty and the coach coming up tomorrow in Nephi for the Bar Dub Grill off exit 222. They'll be doing their show live on location from 10 to 2. All right, let's talk some Summer League basketball. We welcome our next guest back to the show, host of the Sports Junkies right there in our nation's capital, John Auville, with us on Jake and Ben. What's going on, John?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We're doing well. Appreciate you jumping on with us. I have noticed, Jazz fans keeping a very close eye on A.J. Dybantsa's numbers, not just because he played at BYU, but because everyone wants to feel like they drafted the best player, so Jazz fans are pulling for Darryn, and I'm sure Wizards fans are pulling for AJ. Do you get the sense that this is going to be, a Greg Oden, Kevin Durant situation where the two sides are watching one another very closely for the first few years of their careers?
I think they'll be pretty intertwined. I mean, just because of the competition and the race to be drafted number one overall, and the last couple of weeks, maneuvering and jockeying by Peterson's camp to basically make it seem like he was going to be the number one pick by the Wizards when, it was just, agent speak and jockeying to get that number one pick. But look, I think if both develop into superstars, then both fan bases are going to be happy. And, if you look at the early returns from Summer League, we talked about this being a top-heavy, top 4 players really distance themselves from the rest of the draft, and you're seeing that play out with Dybantsa and Peterson there in Utah, Caleb Wilson, he's looked good so far, Boozer in Memphis. So I think all these guys can be stars in their respective cities, and maybe after a few years we'll get over the silly, comps between who's picked 1, who went 2 and 3, and we'll just enjoy the exploits of these guys in their various cities.
John, I'm kind of a bah humbug guy, and I get really frustrated with the wild overreactions in Summer League. I mean, one day they're headed to the Hall of Fame. Sure. The next day they should be released outright by the team. I'm guessing that the Washington fan base has been pretty similar about A.J. Dybantsa as the Jazz fan base has about Darryn Peterson.
Oh, yeah, they're thrilled, but, you have to temper it with, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but maybe you guys remember when Glenn Rice Jr. and Otto Porter were lighting the Summer League on fire for the Wizards, and people back here were going nuts, and you have to temper that enthusiasm. But it is refreshing to see a guy who, the Wizards, it confirmed their priors for the selection. Dybantsa is a guy who can score effortlessly. He's going to live at the free throw line. He's averaging 25 points in Summer League games without even really dipping into the 3-point game that we know he has, but that does need to improve. 33%. You'd like to see him get that number a little bit higher, but look, again, you don't want to overreact to what he's done in 2 summer league games. And, I'm sure you guys saw this news. It came out about an hour and a half ago that Dybantsa is going to be shut down for the rest of the summer league. So the Wizards fans got a taste of the brand new toy, and I agree with shutting him down. Like he passed every test. He did everything you needed to see him do outside of him having a crazy 5 for 7 from 3-point land performance. I agree with the Wizards shutting him down for the rest of the summer league duration.
John, I'm a dumb guy, so I just like to watch him play as much as possible, in all honesty.
Sure.
So I totally get if it was my Ferrari I was driving around and I didn't have to, I'd park it in the garage as much as possible. But from what we did see from AJ, it's always amazing to me. You see these guys in college and what their reputation is generally translates to the NBA. Sometimes it doesn't. You were talking about some of the names there. We also saw Trey Burke in the Summer League absolutely disappear and never really made it as an NBA player, and that was apparent right away. But it seems like all signs are positive from A.J. Dybantsa. The scoring translates. He's going to get to the mid-range. He didn't look like anybody could guard him. Certainly when the Jazz played against him, I think he's going to hit the ground running.
Yeah, all those things you mentioned are true, but I think one other thing that there was a slight question mark about, and again, it's 2 games. You don't want to overreact too much, but he shows a willingness to play defense. And this is a Wizards team that historically, and this doesn't just go back a year or two, this goes back 20 or 30 years, a team that basically is allergic to playing defense. So if A.J. Dybantsa is willing and able to be a good defender, and hopefully that rubs off on some of the other guys, it probably won't rub off on Trae Young. I don't know that anything's going to make him a good defender, but if the rest of the team sees that hustle and that grit from a 19-year-old rookie, maybe they follow along and can be better defensive players as well. And that would really be helped if Anthony Davis winds up actually playing a game in a Wizards uniform. So, yeah, all the things they wanted to see, they saw. They were on display in those 2 games out in Vegas. And the defensive prowess, I think, was probably a pleasant surprise for Wizards officials and the team brass.
So the team obviously invested in Trae Young with that new contract. So it does beg the question, how do you think AJ and Trae fit next to each other?
I think they're going to make it work somehow. I mean, Trae Young, we know that his style of play has kind of fallen out of favor in the NBA. Smaller guard, ball dominant, has the ball all the time. There have been discussions, over the past few weeks about him being less that type of player and getting the ball more in A.J. Dybantsa's hands, which you like. If you have multiple offensive weapons on your team that you can trot out, you want to get the ball in their hands as much as possible. And A.J. Dybantsa needs to touch the ball a lot. He should touch the ball a lot. He can be an offensive spark for a team that was desperate for offensive production last year. You add Trae Young to that mix, basically after signing a 4-year, $212 million free agent deal. We'll have to see what happens with Anthony Davis, how he works into that mix. So I think that they'll be able to coexist well together, and I think Trae Young could resurrect his career here in Washington. I think things just got stale for him there in Atlanta, and a change of scenery may do him a world of good.
So what does Washington need to do coming up this year? Is it just going to be about trying to display A.J. Dybantsa, seeing how high his ceiling might get or be so they can start to rearrange the roster around him? Or do you think there's a desire to win 35, 45 games this year and compete for the postseason? Or can you do both?
I think it's clearly the latter. I mean, they definitely want to keep developing the young players, Dybantsa included. But, this is a fan base that has endured just epic losing over, during the tanking era and the deconstruction of the roster. Anything short of contending for a playoff spot, I think would be viewed as a major shortcoming here in Washington. So they obviously want to keep developing the young players like Dybantsa, like Will Riley, who went off for 32 in one of the summer league games. But make no mistake, this team does not want to be in the neighborhood of winning 17 to 20 games. If that happens again, then it's a catastrophe for the Washington Wizards. I'm not guaranteeing they're going to make the playoffs, but they have to be in playoff contention for this rebuild to really start showing some real signs for the fan base.
We also have those rumors about Anthony Davis possibly being traded to Golden State. Do we know how much a part of the plan Anthony Davis is? Are they shopping him? Does he want to be there? What's the situation there?
it's kind of like been a roller coaster, to be honest with you, since Anthony Davis was acquired. Like, he didn't say much when he was first added to the team, and he didn't actually play any games after he was acquired. He's basically shut down because this team was in full tank mode, kind of like the Utah Jazz and a handful of other teams were down the stretch of the season. But I think they want to see Anthony Davis along with Trae Young and Dybantsa and see what that sort of mix brings, because they needed to add some veteran presence to this young core that they've been drafting over the last 2 or 3 off seasons. So I think they want Anthony Davis here. I think they're going to extend him when he becomes eligible on August 6th. I don't know if he's going to be signing the 4-year, I believe, $275 million Supermax that he's eligible for, but I think Wizards GM Will Dawkins wants to keep him here long term. And I think he's going to find some sort of deal that works for him and Rich Paul and works for the Wizards as well. So I'm expecting Anthony Davis to sign an extension probably within the next month and a half here.
Well, John, thank you for jumping on with us. We really appreciate it, especially, in the hot days of summer when Summer League is the most important thing going on. So we appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, John. John Auville from the Sports Junkies in Washington, D.C.
Maybe it's because I've got 250 on the brain, or we've been watching World Cup, so there's some patriotism baked into all of this. But it will be fun, ideally, if these guys pan out, to watch Darryn Peterson and A.J. Dybantsa and Caleb Wilson playing on a Olympic team together in, when's the next Summer Olympics? 2 years? 3 years? I mean, they probably won't be on that roster, but 6 years down the line, we start to see those guys on the same roster. That could be fun.
Man, I just can't help but feeling bad for A.J. Dybantsa.
Okay.
What a disaster. Listening to John talk about extending street clothes?
Yeah.
And the contract that he's eligible for, which they'd be crazy to give that to him. But they don't trade for him if they're not looking to extend the guy. So A.J. Dybantsa has to go play with Trae Young and Anthony Davis. He's never going to get the ball. What's the one thing everybody says about A.J. Dybantsa? And really, you watched him at BYU, and it's true. Dude needs the ball.
Yeah, he needs touches.
He's never going to have the ball.
Yeah.
Ever.
And by the way, he's worth it. He's good enough that he deserves to have touches. Nobody ever complained about Michael touching the ball too much. Now, I'm not comparing A.J. to Michael, but the best player on your team should basically touch the ball just about as much as possible. I mean, that's honestly, if we want to, boil it down, make it as simplified as possible, the best player needs touches. If you've got all these guys taking the ball out of their hands, it's going to be rough for AJ.
No, we haven't even talked about Alex Sarr.
Yeah, right.
Who's at very least
Trae Johnson.
established themselves there in Washington. Poor AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Go stand in the corner, bro. That's how they're going to use him. Bad teams are bad teams for a reason.
Yep, they are. And you were talking about a conversation you had with PK, and because I wasn't here last week during the Donovan Mitchell extension.
Multiple conversations with PK.
And just kind of the thought, which, by the way, I was saying this 3 weeks ago about Walker Kessler, that, well, you have to re-sign him, right? Because you can't lose the salary, you can't lose the future trade piece, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to allow this person to walk. Now, technically, the Jazz didn't let Walker Kessler walk.
More than technically. They got plenty.
They got a lot back.
Uh-huh.
They got draft picks back. But you know what? You can let guys walk. You absolutely can just call a team's bluff and say, yeah, we're going to pivot. Like, was it ideal? No. Was it easy? Certainly not. But we have the job to take the next step. We can't just collapse. We can't just fall apart and put our head in our hands and start crying. Like, if the Cavaliers decided, hey, you know what? Donovan Mitchell at $70 million doesn't make any sense for us, I think that would have actually been totally justifiable. Now, that might have not been correct, and it might have been too big of a gamble for them to feel comfortable doing. But if you were to tell me that 4 years from now, and I don't like this trade, obviously, but if you tell me 4 years from now we're looking back at the Jaylen Brown, Paul George trade, and it's not a clear A-plus win for the Philadelphia 76ers, I don't know if I'm going to be stunned.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to be paying Jaylen Brown $70 million as a 33-year-old.
Paying the wrong guy.
Needs a lot of touches.
Yep.
And the Boston Celtics might say, yeah, well, we use that $70 million in flexibility to go do X, Y, and Z. And if we look back 3 years from now and say, holy cow, the Lakers are paying Walker Kessler a lot of money to be the 5th best player on their team, and they have no flexibility now to build around Luka Doncic. And the Jazz are pretty happy about having these 31 and 33 unprotected future first that they can dangle in trades or whatever the picks are or swaps. That wouldn't stem me either. So sometimes, yes, saying no, as hard as it is the right decision.
Depending on what your goal is.
Depending on what your goal is.
And PK was very concerned about the Cleveland Cavaliers sponsorship team and their ability to make money.
Yes. So.
But if you're talking about winning a championship, you got to give that 70 to the right player if you're going to give that 70 to anybody at all.
Correct.
So.
Something I have been worried about for a very long time in the NBA, and I've said it several times, is the best player tax. We give the best player on every NBA team a max contract for some reason. And it's just the tax of they're the best player on your team.
Because you're scared of losing them.
Because you're scared of losing them.
Yeah.
Even if they're the wrong guy.
Yep.
Well, imagine if you operated your life that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, imagine if every time you went to the grocery store, the item you needed the most, you paid the most for. Well, you would go broke. Well, you need toilet cleaner today. It's the most, whatever you need. Doesn't mean you're paying $70 for it. If you did that and spent the wrong money on the wrong thing, you wouldn't have any money in your bank account anymore. And that's how NBA teams should operate. And I think sometimes are too afraid to.
It's Tuesday. We can do Hot Take Tuesday later, but we've got the post-game show of Spain beat France and Landon Donovan's there. And listen, I think it's cool that he's been upfront about his hair transplant and saying this is something that I've felt self-conscious about and I'm going to do something about it and whatever. He needed a better doctor. He looks ridiculous.
It's not
Did
the
you
best
see him?
piece. I'm looking at it right now.
It's not a piece. I think he had the surgery. He did it all on social media and stuff. But it's like you wonder where some of these people in Hollywood hire their plastic surgeons. It's like you got a lot of money. You need a better doctor.
Yeah. You don't do a lot of social media. You don't do Instagram, right? So based on our jobs, sometimes, and I will say, I commit payola regularly, but not with this. I had a dentist reach out and was like, yeah, do you want to do veneers or something? And I thought, I don't think that's the person I want doing my veneers.
You're
the door-to-door salesman trying to fix my teeth as a radio host. Doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Find a dentist.
Anyways.
Yeah.
But, Landon Donovan responding to a DM on social media to get his wig done. It's probably not the best idea.
But I want to reiterate, I do think it's cool that he's embraced it. You know, if people want to better their self-esteem, knock yourself right out. But
you're an adult.
Right, exactly. But find a better doctor. We can find a guy. I'm sure Christian knows a guy.
Absolutely.
Christian's
He
probably
got his plugs done.
got a transplant guy.
I'm watching the video right now. It is it's not a transplant. It is just
it is a rug?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it
glued
was
on.
Oh, I thought it was the surgery.
I'll send it to you on Instagram.
Oh, then he definitely can do better.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
You got to get a better tube guy then.
Because, no, that's not a good one.
No, that's terrible.
And we only need him once every 4 years, maybe once every 2 years if he's doing the Olympics, if the men qualify. So
I do like it that he threw Pulisic under the bus, though.
Go to Turkey, pal.
Those
guys look great. This, you got a little, you get the little thing on your hat.
He, when he threw Pulisic under the bus, he threw, Pulisic's family and his people, so they're difficult to deal with. And you know what? Pulisic did kind of stink.
I know. You pointed out yesterday, I think accurately, that maybe this was not a great accomplishment from the U.S. men's national team.
No, I don't think so. All right, Bob Casper joins us next. We're going to talk about the Open Championship. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This Open Championship update is presented by Copper Rock, where the pros play on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Time to talk a little golf. The Open Championships going on this week. I still want to go British Open, Ben. Like, I'm refusing to come along on this Cape Verde stuff. Can I just stay with British Open?
Yeah, man.
Is that all right?
Whatever you want to
do. Joining the show now to talk British Open. Of course, you hear him every single Saturday morning on Real Golf Radio, and of course, their coverage of the majors cannot be beat. He's the one and only Bob Casper with us here on Jake and Ben. What's going on, Bob?
Hey, boys, how you doing? And yes, you can call it the British Open.
Why did they ditch it? What's the deal there?
Well, you know, it's the world's national golf championship, so they call it the Open Championship. And you know, the U.S. Open is the U.S. Open because it's just for the United States, but this one's not just for Britain, it's for the entire world, and because of the R&A, the Royal and Ancient Golf Club, so they decided they wanted it to be the Open Championship.
The final of the four majors this year, how have the majors performed this year? I don't mean from a viewership standpoint, but in your opinion, as far as following the storylines, the excitement, generating new storylines, continuing legacies, etc., how's it been so far?
I think they've been pretty good. When you start out the year with a back-to-back win at the Masters by Rory McIlroy, that couldn't have been much better, no doubt about it. Then you've got, the PGA Championship, really kind of unsung winner in Aaron Rai, and that's probably not one that you would expect, but that's what traditionally kind of happens at a PGA Championship is you get a winner that is not necessarily somebody that's a marquee player. Then the U.S. Open, a former champion in Wyndham Clark, and he won it 2 out of the last 4 years. So and that was really cool. Shinnecock was awesome, and just I thought that one's a really good one. And now you've got one at Royal Birkdale, which is in England, and which they say is probably the premier course on the Rota, except for the Old Course. But I think it's going to have a great champion, and because of the condition of the golf course, I think it's going to separate a lot of players, and you're going to have probably a marquee winner.
Well, speaking of that, I was going to ask you, because looking up some of the previous winners, they've played here a lot, obviously. The last one was Jordan Spieth, but Patty Harrington, Marco Mira, Ian Banker-Finch, Tom Watson, Johnny Miller, Lee Trevino. I mean, it really is kind of a who's who list from golf. Great golfers have won here. So you're expecting a big name.
Yeah, I'm expecting because of the dryness of the golf course, because of the fastness of the golf course and everything, I'm expecting somebody that's a really good ball striker to win this coming week or this week. And, the elite players, that I think they will definitely be on task. When Johnny Miller won it in 76, he was pretty much the number one player in the world. Marco Mira won it in 98. He had already won the Masters earlier that year. So Jordan Spieth in 17 when he won, he was on a pretty big tear from 2015 all the way through 17, and he ends up winning the Open Championship. So, I think it's going to be a really good one. It's going to be a good one, and it's going to be an elite player that wins this time.
Is Scotty Scheffler struggling, or is he just not playing like the greatest player in the world, which we've been used to now for the last 2 or 3 years?
Well, yeah, four wins 2 years ago, 7 wins last year. He's over 20 total, and 5 majors. He's already won once this year. If you can win once on the PGA Tour, you've had a great year. But he's classed himself as an elite player, and that's why he's the number one player in the world, just simply by what he's been able to do and how he's been able to accomplish what he's done in just the last four-year period of time. He won. He missed the cut last week at the Scottish Open. First time he's done that in 78 tournaments, which is pretty crazy. Like about 4 years. And but that a lot of times that's a good thing. That's a reset. you start to hone in a little bit more. You start to focus in a little bit more, and these greens traditionally are not greens that are too difficult as far as speed or anything's concerned. So you can be a little bit more aggressive with your putts, and I think that will help him out this week.
Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio, with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Who's playing well right now, Bob? Who's coming in with momentum?
Well, there's some really interesting stories, especially with the guys from England, okay? Somebody from England has not won in their home country since 1969, and that was Tony Jacklin. But you got Matthew Fitzpatrick, who's playing some phenomenal golf and has won 3 times this year. So he's English. He would be the first one to do it here in England again, and which would be really kind of cool to see. Another great story would be Tommy Fleetwood, who just grew up 5 minutes away from the golf course, and he and his dad used to sneak on that golf course and play a few holes when he was growing up. They'd go through the fence and just tee it up and play a few holes, which is kind of cool. But one of the really, really cool stories this year is Justin Rose. So Justin Rose, back in 1998, he was a 17-year-old amateur player that qualified for the British Open, and he finished 4th as a 17-year-old amateur. And then the career that he's had, he's won the U.S. Open, and it was on this course, Royal Birkdale, that he finished 4th as a 17-year-old. So it would be kind of really cool to have that circle all the way back around, and as a 45 or 46-year-old now, be able to win the Open Championship on the same course that he kind of broke out in the professional golf ranks. So, there's a lot of cool stories, and there are a lot of fun things. But, Aaron Rai, who won the PGA Championship, he's English. Also, Terrell Hatton's English. There's quite a few guys that are really good players that possibly have a chance to do that this week.
Do you get a sense there's any concern for Tony Finau's future?
Tony's gone through a lot. He's had some injury. He had a surgery last year towards the end of the year on his foot, and there's a lot of things that happen, not only structurally in your body as far as playing the game, but also swing wise with what you're trying to do. You can have a problem with your back or your foot or something like that causes you to compensate for it, and then all of a sudden your golf swing has changed. So I think Tony's trying to get back. Tony's played some good golf this year. He's had a couple of top tens. Listen, he's in FedEx Cup points, he's around 70 right now, and he's made over $1.5 million this year on the PGA Tour. So we're used to seeing Tony be in the top tens. We're used to seeing him at the Tour Championship. I think he'll get back to that, and I think he'll play some really good golf towards the end of the season and get back at least in the top 50.
Bob, I like to ask you about the salacious stuff, but Phil Mickelson is getting kicked out of country clubs because he's harassing women.
Be careful, Jake. Be careful.
He's paying cart dogs to drive around the course so his wife can track his phone while other things are going on. She thinks that he's playing golf.
Wow.
I bring it up because how are we going to eventually remember this golfer? Because he was probably the most popular guy on tour for a time. Everybody thought he was great. And then this spiral has been wild. So I'm curious, what will his legacy be like?
I think not only what you've talked about, but jumping to LIV Golf and everything how outspoken he's been against the PGA Tour, which basically gave him his career. And then now all these personal issues and stuff with his wife and family. It's really too bad. I think, if he were to decide that that being honest was with the golfing public and the world was a little bit more important than trying to hide things. We've seen people that have done that, and they aren't forgiven very, very well. I think Phil Mickelson still could be forgiven for what he's done as far as fracturing the game and everything. But unfortunately, it's kind of a sad note. Everybody, like you said, everybody loved Phil Mickelson. Everybody loved his demeanor on the golf course and how he plays the game and everything like that. But we haven't seen that for quite some time because of LIV and because he hasn't played well. So, it's too bad. It's too bad to see things like that go that far downhill.
If I get thrown out of a country club, I want it to be because I would refuse to wear a shirt while playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
I want it to be something good.
Something.
Jake showed up in a tank top.
Yeah, right.
Something classy, definitely.
Exactly. Something along those lines. Man, I almost got thrown out of the Hidden Valley Country Club because I didn't tuck my shirt in. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
They're serious, Bob. Bob, thank you for jumping on with us. We look forward to all your coverage this week, and of course, we'll be listening on Saturday morning. You're the man.
Thanks, Bob.
Got it. Take care, guys.
See you, Bob. Bob Casper. Tiger's legacy is going to be interesting, but his golf might have been good enough that all the ancillary stuff eventually quiets. I don't know if the same will be true of Phil.
Those two guys, their rivalry, Tiger more, probably maybe 70-30, maybe 90-10, to be honest, did so much for the game and popularized the game so much and made everybody so much money and brought Nike into the conversation. At least I know Nike has somewhat left, at least trying to make golf equipment.
Left, yeah.
But was a part of it, I'm sure made billions of dollars during their heyday while Tiger was in his prime. That I think it's going to be hard to ever pull Tiger out of PGA Tour, out of what he's done for golf. I do think the further we get away from Phil, the more disgraced it's going to feel. I don't think we're going to come back around on Phil.
See, I think the disgrace will go away and people just remember the golfer.
He's got to stop disgracing himself, though.
Well, we'll see.
And he doesn't seem to want to do that.
His wife's so paranoid about him having an affair, she's tracking his phone, and he pays someone to drive around the course just to make her think
some phone attachment you can put on a dog's collar, let the dog go run around. Phil spent a lot of time at the dog park. What's going on?
No, honestly, look at somebody like Lawrence Taylor. Uh-huh. People still are like, it's LT. That's the best linebacker I've ever seen in my entire life. He's had a wild third act.
Yes, he has.
Full of crack and near-death experiences and all sorts of wild stuff.
Maybe I'm not as well versed in Lawrence Taylor's downfall. I'm aware of it.
Uh-huh.
It has been more damaging to himself than to others. Am I wrong on that?
No, there's been plenty of others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been some others in there.
He's created victims
uh-huh.
In addition to himself.
Yeah. What victim has Phil really created?
Well, this woman he was harassing certainly was not
on the golf course. Yeah. But
poor hot dog kid, hot dog cart guy.
Man, this just well, no, I bet the guy made a ton of dough. What do you think Phil Mickelson is paying you to drive his phone around for him while he has an affair? It's like that probably comes with an NDA.
I do it for free.
See, that's your problem, and that's my problem too, is I was not a savvy enough dirtbag as a young person. I was a dirtbag as a young person, but I was not savvy. So the right kid, the right hustler who works at this country club probably can be 19 years old and turn $100,000 a year.
Oh, those cart dogs at those exclusive country clubs?
If you know how to do it.
Oh, for sure.
If you're the right type of dirtbag who smells Phil Mickelson's desperation.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, Phil, carry your phone around.
If you're willing to take a few $100 and when they wink at you and say, my wife didn't see who I pulled up with, did you? Did she? No, sir, she did not. Yeah, I bet
But you got to be the right type of dirtbag.
You could make a lot of money doing that, yeah.
I don't think Christian's made of the right stuff. I know I'm not made of the right stuff to really benefit from it appropriately, to take advantage of Phil's downfall.
Oh, I'm sure you could think of something if you were in
Now I could, yeah. I'm 40. I'm disgusting.
If you were in the circumstance?
At 18, I was young and naive and hopeful.
Did you notice Bob really didn't want to talk about that?
He did not. He was not that comfortable with that.
No, I just pressed right on through, though.
Yeah,
I was going to ask that question.
That's why you're you.
Well, that's what people want to know.
That's called hard-hitting journalism.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Phil Mickelson and his salacious downfall.
Mm-hmm.
But no, eventually people will just remember the golf.
Who do you think's... I don't mean whose downfall is greater. Whose downfall is more salacious, Tiger or Phil? Tiger's is insane.
Probably... Well, Tiger's now had multiple.
Right, exactly.
Multiple rise and fall. Phil just kind of has had one big rise and one big fall.
Kind of a dirtbag. Which is
more salacious, though? I mean, this latest stuff with bribing the cart dog is pretty salacious. But then again, tracking down the Perkins waitress was extremely salacious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Tiger called the president during his latest DUI?
Oh, yeah, when the cops were there. Yeah, he called the president of the United States.
The president from the back of the police car. Like,
I don't think it was in the car yet. He was walking around.
Okay, Phil slipping $100 bill to the hot dog kid is not that big of a deal compared to getting the president of the United States on the phone because you've got another DUI.
But Phil has reportedly gambled over $1 billion in his career. I don't know. I don't know that about Tiger.
Yeah, I was just talking to the president.
I was just talking to the president. Is he already trying to get a pardon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get down here with us, please. Yeah, I was just talking to the president.
It's the Rossini approach. Just on the phone.
I'll get Kevin O'Connell on the phone right now.
Kevin O'Connell, good guy.
Quarterback sucks, though.
That guy's an idiot. You got no chance as long as J.J. McCarthy's your guy. But anyways, yeah. Anyways, I'll tell him you said hi. What was your name?
Just talking to the president.
Son's a big fan, yeah?
Tiger has nearly died multiple times, which...
Well, his wife almost killed him.
Yeah, well, then he wrecked the car in California where he,
almost lost his leg?
Uh-huh.
Right,
So,
I actually
you know
think
what?
Tiger's sins might be greater.
I probably got to go with Tiger.
Yeah. But Tiger is just more well-liked somehow than Phil, which says a lot about Phil.
Do you think all the old, boring golfers, like we mentioned Lee Trevino is one at this course or whatever, do you think he looks at what's going on with these guys and is just like, wow, where has this sport gone?
It's got to be part of it.
Like Bob Casper. I met Bob's dad, Billy, once, I think. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he's like the most square dude I've ever met in my life.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
golf historically has a bit of a stuffy reputation.
Right.
And Phil, at one point, and Tiger as well, both came across as somewhat stuffy. Then what we realized behind the scenes, it's bacchanalia. It's just debauchery left and right. They're all insane people. But maybe that's always been the case, and we just didn't get a real sense of it because they were better at keeping things buttoned up, or maybe it just really was not the case.
I don't know. Nick Faldo seems pretty normal.
Davis Love seemed like a pretty straight shooter.
Pretty normal dude.
Yeah.
Who was the guy with the stupid glasses? Like David Duvall. Mm-hmm. Most interesting thing about him was his stupid glasses. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe they had...
Right. Payne Stewart. They're like, he wears short pants. Like, this guy's nuts.
Crazy.
This guy's off his rocker. Rest in peace. But that was the most dangerous thing about golf for a while.
Meanwhile, Tiger just loves to do drugs and drive.
Chase women?
Yeah, right.
And Phil, we have no idea what he's up to. So, yeah, then golf's just in a different spot.
If you're Phil Mickelson, do you know how bad your behavior has to be to get kicked out of a country club? I mean, that country club is advertising to people that you're a member.
Correct.
So
they make truly maybe millions of dollars a year off of you also being a member, because I'm not a member of a country club, but they easily run into the six figures, right, for the best of the best for a yearly.
Well, I'm only a member at McRiley, but
sure.
I think it's
you can spend six figures
pretty
for
expensive.
A country club membership, I'm sure. And yes, if Phil is there,
yeah, you're talking
really
about
hard to get millions of dollars off of people saying, "Well, I'm a member of the same country club as Phil."
Right. So your behavior.
So for
has
them to kick you out,
it's not good.
Yeah,
not good. All right, we'll have more straight ahead. Thanks to Bob Casper for jumping on. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Get you to hang out down here with us, please.
Thank you so much. All right, you got it. All right, thank you. Bye. Say again?
Just keep you down here with us, please.
Yeah, I was just talking to the president.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. You can do so at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday to this show, Jake and Ben, as we announce the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. We had Bob Casper on with us in the last segment. The Open Championship is this week. Let's get another qualifier for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. We're going to assign you a golfer. If that golfer wins, you win a Copper Rock branded polo, an outerwear piece, a hat, and a $100 gas gift card. It's all courtesy of our friends at Copper Rock, where the pros play. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE.
Who is the most bulletproof athlete we've ever seen?
I don't know if that exists, honestly.
I mean, Tiger has had a major fall off.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't bulletproof, and he was on top of the world.
He was on top of the world, and if Tiger can fall, I would imagine most people can.
Yeah, anyway, I mean...
Charles Barkley has been remarkably bulletproof, but again, his worst thing is like a drunk guy attacked him in a bar and he threw the guy through the window.
Well, you know, he's kind of a degenerate, and I bet his behavior is not rosy all the time, or certainly has been, but he's much...
If he beat up a woman, we wouldn't forgive Charles. And he's not doing that.
Well,
thankfully.
I mean, people still pay attention to Shannon Sharp.
Correct.
I mean, he was on Fox until like a year ago, and now he has one of the most popular podcasts in the... So, I don't know. I think someone like Charles, whose image is flawed, is different. Tiger's big thing is he lied to the world forever. He said he was
He was Mr. Squeaky
the
Clean.
world's most ideal human.
Yeah.
And then that didn't turn out to be true. I think LeBron is such a machine. I don't know. If there were skeletons about LeBron, would we ever find out?
Yeah, he might be able to bury it.
He's lived his entire life in this PR thing since he was 13 or 14 years old. Mm-hmm. But I mean, look at O.J. Simpson. Nobody's too big for it. And once athletes start acting like they're too big for it, then that's usually when the fall comes.
The guys who always have the most humility or seem to be least willing to pretend they are a gift to the planet do seem to be able to, I don't even want to say get away with a lot more, but we grant them leeway of being human beings, whether that's Charles, who famously said, I'm not a role model, or John Daly, who never has pretended to be a role model. But when you do pretend to have the perfect image, and then it's so easy to poke holes in it, we don't struggle to take you down.
Alex Rodriguez was one of the best baseball players of all time.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think he'll be remembered that way because of his controversy, because of his downfall.
Yeah.
Whereas Derek Jeter was able to keep his image fairly upright, and he's considered way better than he actually was. Not that Derek Jeter wasn't, Hall of Famer. I guess I'm splitting hairs here, but like you go back and look at his numbers. He wasn't near the player A-Rod was. Who moved over to third, though, when they were on the same team?
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind of an interesting conversation, I guess. But yeah, I don't think anybody's above it all. Absolutely not.
That's probably a good thing.
Oh, it's definitely a good thing. Are you kidding? I would hope. I mean,
not that I'm bloodthirsty.
No, but accountability is a thing.
A little bloodthirsty, but I'm not. Yeah, it's okay that we are not.
No,
deifying.
Like Tiger
humans.
should not be taking drugs and driving.
It's a good baseline.
He should not be doing that. He should be held accountable for doing that because that's very dangerous and very bad behavior. And just because your name is Tiger Woods does not mean you can take drugs and drive.
You were an awesome golfer. You don't get to endanger.
I was talking to the president.
Yeah, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. With Phil, there's some stuff you don't. I don't know. You don't get to do that. I guess you can. I guess you can. You can have a salacious life, but when you live it in public, it's going to become public.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we shouldn't be judging Phil too much. I don't know. Lots of people
You were
have
being
affairs.
too hard on Phil.
Well, I don't know. No, because hey, be better.
Don't be a creep.
Don't be a creep. But I mean, he hasn't really broken any laws. Tiger taking drugs and driving is breaking laws. Harassing a woman, I suppose, is breaking a law. I mean, his
was he loitering?
It was nothing that serious, thank goodness. The live thing, I'm not real wild about that at all, but it wasn't
illegal.
It wasn't breaking the law, So I don't know, maybe we are judging Phil too harshly. But Phil might be a victim of the narrative surrounding him. Amy and the kids at the US Open and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. How true is that for anybody? And that was definitely pro-trade.
That's why I like doing the show with you. Team Zag. Everyone turns their back on Phil and you wrap your arms around him.
Hey, let's go. Team Phil. No, I mean, why does he just turn his location off instead of giving it to the cart guy?
Too curious, apparently. If suddenly...
Well, that's fishy.
Yeah, right. If suddenly something changes where your location's off, I assume you're having an affair. If you're a golf guy and you're at the golf course and it looks like you're moving around all the time, I'd say, Phil's just on the golf course again. So there's some thought to it. It's clever. Clearly, it wasn't
not clever enough.
Yeah, he got caught right away.
All right. Well, I'm more straight ahead. We'll get back into the NBA. We'll talk some summer league, unfortunately. Not the world's most interesting game yesterday, but it does continue to be a big story.
Huh?
Stay tuned. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Just doing it big,
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Maybe we could talk about bad assumptions. Like Ben and I were just talking about Sugar House, and I think whoever laid out the advancement of Sugar House assumed that people would not drive cars anymore. We were talking about this one place.
By 2006, cars will be a thing of the past.
Because we were talking about this one place, and the parking lot for that place is bananas all the time.
A disaster.
It's a complete disaster.
Mm-hmm.
The roads are so narrow in Sugar House. And don't get me wrong, I think it's cool what they're doing. They're putting up the apartment complexes and making a real community of it. But whoever laid it all out to begin with, I think just assumed that people were going to be done with cars.
Yeah.
At some point. Bad assumptions. How about this? Larry Scott assumed that everything was going to be streaming and the Pac-12 streaming rights were going to be worth $1 zillion. Correct. And held on to them. And yeah, they were kind of right that streaming was coming, but how it happened and the speed of which it happened, he was way off.
He wanted to be so far ahead of the game that he outthought himself.
So he made this assumption that everything was just going to streaming and that they wanted no infrastructure help and they weren't going to sell any of it and that they were going to keep it all and that was going to be their windfall. And it did not turn out to be true.
No, it cost him his job.
At all.
Yeah.
And he made that assumption in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
What are bad assumptions that turned out to be bad?
That's up there. No, I mean, people have been betting against radio for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for not 10
My
years,
entire
not
career.
20 years, not 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. I mean, and as soon as there were tape decks in cars, people thought, why would you ever sit and listen to a radio station to get a song?
Or TVs.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, TVs come along. Why would people listen to the radio? But my entire career, I've been making the joke, I picked a dying medium. Is it dying?
Yeah, right.
Because it's going quite well.
Yeah.
And people still...
It's not going that well. Relax.
Listen to the radio. Well, no, I once had
it's going great, yeah.
I once had a boss tell me, and this was great, and I think it was Craig who said it, but it could have been any of those guys, but it was when streaming was first coming. Go to 1280thezone.com, and you can hit the play button and listen through your computer. We're talking about this was revolutionary, And I had a boss said, this is just another stick, which is what they call the broadcast antenna. Right. This is another stick. And then as the career has gone, I mean, now we're talking, we probably have, I mean, counting all the podcasting services and stuff, there's 24 sticks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But people still consume the radio. I mean, I'd have to go check our Cume numbers, but I would guess it has not changed hardly at all over the past 20 plus years that I've been doing it.
Correct.
But there are other ways now for people to consume it.
Right.
So our Cume, which is a radio term, has in fact grown because of the variety of ways. It hasn't killed one. It's really just fueled it.
It shouldn't have given you a reason to bet against one or the other.
Right.
They actually weren't competing forces. They were complementary.
So
opening new doors.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about it this way. You know, if we're reaching people while they're working, you know, we used to be in the midday. We had a lot of people who were salespeople, delivery people, mail, and all that. But you know, now we have people sitting in their office. Mm-hmm. You know, we have people who've got it in the earpiece and mm-hmm. listening on their phone, and you don't necessarily have to be just in the car driving around.
Correct.
So, yeah, it's evolving.
Yes.
But radio is certainly not dead.
And podcasting didn't make radio irrelevant. In fact, it's probably made it more valuable because how many absorbers do we have say, hey, listener from the future?
Oh, podcasting has been extremely complementary to radio. And I do this in my own life. I mean, you're listening to something on the radio and it's some compelling segment. I'm listening to DJ and PK talk about something, you know, and then I pull into wherever I'm going and going to be back in my car in an hour. Well, I'll boot up the podcast and listen to the conclusion of the conversation, which is great. And I hope everybody, however you're consuming, absorbing the show, hopefully you make it fit. And I would guess it's multi-pronged. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto this topic. Anyway, to drag Larry Scott, I'm all about. Oh yeah, bad assumptions. Bad assumptions. You're assuming that cars would be a thing of the past.
Because of where you're going on a
date.
date.
We don't need to plan for that. What do we need a parking lot for?
Everyone will be riding buses at that point.
I mean, come on. Don't you guys have the vision?
Yeah.
Flying cars. You've seen Back to the Future, too. You know what this is all going to be about.
Right around the corner.
It's just going to hover above us, waiting for you to get done with your dinner.
Yeah. Not quite. Just didn't quite get there.
I have a buddy who's an urban planner, and it just goes to show that I do believe there are bad people at any job. Never make an assumption that because somebody is this, that they actually know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Like the great Steve On Smith Sr. telling me that there are a lot of done general managers out there.
Yes.
100% correct. We talked earlier in the show with our guy John Auville, right? From D.C. I have no idea what the Wizards are doing. And they're doing it wrong.
Well, did you see the latest Joe Dumars story?
Yes, I did. The DeAndre Jordan. Fill everybody in on this one.
So, if listeners don't know, the NBA will subsidize veteran contracts, veteran minimum contracts, the minimum being the key there. So, if you've been in the league for 2 years, like the minimum you can make in the league is like $1.5 million. Mm-hmm. Every year that you're in the NBA beyond 3, 4, 5, whatever it is years, the minimum actually grows.
I think it's every 3 years. Like if it's 7 years, you're eligible
tack on
for
another $500,000 or whatever.
And then 10 years, it's another one. Yeah.
So like Kevin Love last year was on, I believe, a vet minimum for the Utah Jazz. Mm-hmm. He made $3.5 million or whatever it was because his tenure in the NBA means his minimum is higher than whatever your rookie is who it really doesn't belong in the NBA. And the league likes that because actually having Kevin Love and that type of familiarity is better and allows those guys to stay employed versus this revolving door of random dudes just trying to stick around in 1 year in the NBA because the league is too cheap to pay them or teams are too cheap to pay them. The NBA will subsidize the difference between the true minimum value contract in the NBA for the first year guy and the veteran guy. They will make up that difference for you. They will pay the difference between $1.5 million and $3.5 million for the first-year player and Kevin Love to the NBA team, basically reimburse them, pay that $2 million because the league recognizes it's good to have these veterans around, makes the league better, it's safer, et cetera, et cetera. But the league only subsidizes that if you sign these players to 1-year minimum contracts. Well, DeAndre Jordan is not an NBA player anymore beyond A-plus locker room guy. Apparently, he's the best vet in the world. The same way Kevin Love was an A-plus vet for the Jazz last year. Really, really valuable to have in a locker room with Keontae George and Ace Bailey and guys who are trying to find their footing as human beings to then become stars. Joe Dumars, the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans, signed DeAndre Jordan to a 2-year minimum contract, believing the league would subsidize the 2-year contract. However, they only subsidize 1-year deals. So, working for Gail Benson, who is the cheapest owner, with all due respect to Tom Dundon, El Cheapo, with the Portland Trailblazers, actually maybe the cheapest owner in all of professional sports, Gail Benson, who owns the Pelicans, actually now has to overpay DeAndre Jordan for 2 years to not play basketball, to just be a veteran in a locker room who never sees the court, but is a good locker room guy that ideally the league would have been paying the majority of his salary based on compensating teams for paying or by paying the vet minimum. But Joe Dumars didn't know the rule. So he signed him to a 2-year deal, which is too long, and now doesn't get the benefit of the league subsidizing him. That's being bad at your job.
Well, I think the most offensive part had to be guaranteeing the second year.
Guaranteeing the second year.
That's worse than the subsidy.
It's so easy. All you have to do is say, hey, DeAndre Jordan, we love you. And wink, wink, we're going to sign you next summer too. Just sign a deal with us. I promise you, though, because this gets done all the time. Why did the Wizards just give Trae Young $240 million contract or whatever the crazy number was? Well, they agreed to it when they traded to him. They just couldn't sign it until July. But they told him this contract was coming. He knew it was coming.
Well, you could have a team option. Why would you guarantee? I mean, even if you wanted him under your, you didn't want to wink it. You just wanted, you're saying, hey, we're interested in 2 years. His agent isn't going to pass because you left the second year unguaranteed. Meaning the team could have an advantageous contract.
Yes.
Like, we can sign you to a 2-year deal, only the first year. Actually, you could even do only half the first year is actually guaranteed. But you can pick up the second year. So even if it goes incredibly well and he becomes an assistant coach on the bench and he is the best leader you've ever seen in your entire life, and Zion Williamson turns into an all-pro basketball player, and you're like, man, we love this guy. You just pick up the second year.
Correct.
And if it doesn't go like that, you don't pick up the second year.
But
there's no risk. There's no point in guaranteeing the second year. Portland guaranteed the second year for Damian Lillard because they had to, because he would have gone to a different team.
Right.
Because there were other 2-year contracts out there for Damian Lillard, even though he was hurt. Nobody is signing DeAndre Jordan
There's
to
no
a 2-year
competition for DeAndre Jordan.
For a 2-year guaranteed contract. So even if you wanted him for the 2 years, why guarantee something
you didn't need to?
You absolutely don't have to. That makes no sense at all.
So when we talk about there are people who you would be surprising are actually bad at their jobs. Don't assume anyone's good at anything just because they have a title. Steve On Smith saying you'd be surprised at how many dumb GMs there are out there. Joe Dumars is a dumb GM. And this is the latest example. Not the only example, but the latest example.
Like all those, bringing this back to Larry Scott, all those snooty Pac-12 presidents assumed that since Larry Scott was president of the Women's Tennis Association, and the Women's Tennis Association had never been more popular, this guy must really know what he's doing. This must be a really smart dude. Right. It takes only 30 seconds to think, well, I think the Williams sisters came around about that same time, and maybe they had something to do with the success, and they hired a complete bozo. So never just assume that somebody knows what they're talking about.
Famously, in sports radio in the state of Utah, and you would remember some of the names probably better than I did, but in the late 90s, all of a sudden, the ratings in sports radio in Utah were through the roof. And everybody, all the talent here locally, became hot names nationally. Wow, we've never seen this type of numbers anywhere in a local market, especially a market Salt Lake size. We got to get them up to Seattle. We got to get them here. Locke benefited from this, and Locke had been in the business. And
John Lund,
John Lund.
Guys, yeah.
Someone else went up to Washington who's still up there.
Ian Fitzsimmons.
Ian
No, not Ian Fitzsimmons. Ian.
It is Fitz, right?
Different guy. Fitzsimmons came later and he does ESPN stuff. It's Ian Furness.
Ian Furness. All of these guys exploded. And what people weren't paying attention to, a la the Williams sisters, suddenly making women's tennis in the U.S. the most popular sport on the planet, was that the Utah Jazz went to back-to-back NBA finals, BYU went to the Cotton Bowl, and Utah basketball went to the Final Four within 36 months of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sports was on fire in the state of Utah. It was a great time to be working in sports, and everybody ate extraordinarily well at that time. Now, it did just so happen that those are very talented people. Kevin is absurdly talented. Locke is very talented. These are really talented people that were in the market at that time. I'm sure Bowler Jack benefited from this. DJ probably benefited from this time, ratings, etc. But also, it was just kind of a perfect storm of college football mattered, college basketball mattered, and the Utah Jazz never mattered more.
Interest was high.
Interest was high. Doesn't assume that Utah has something in the water that's making all these great sports radio hosts. Now, again, all those people are still working in sports radio. It's a tip of the cap to them. Talented people, but also there were some good things going on in the state around them that allowed that interest to grow.
A lot of dumb general managers out there.
Dumb GMs out there.
I still say the smartest thing Ryan Smith did when he bought the team was he got a general manager who was not only not GM, I guess president of basketball ops, who was not only capable and proven, but that he trusted to do a good job. And some owners don't trust us. Like speaking of our guy John from Washington, we were talking about Ernie Grunfeld and how the Wizards held on to him as a general manager for just ever. You know what I mean? Because the owner liked him or something. Isaiah Thomas with James Dolan. He kept getting hired by James Dolan, even though he was just dreadful. So it has to be the combo of both, right? You have the trust of the owner, and they're going to be worthy of that trust. Mm-hmm. Larry Miller was really good at that. He gave his trust to, Frank Layden and then Scott Layden and certainly Jerry Sloan and Phil Jackson in there and that brain trust. And then Larry kind of just gave the support. Gail was really good at that.
She was, yeah.
And I think Ryan has shown to be good at that so far. But by hiring Danny Ainge, you don't really have a choice.
I think Ryan was smart enough to recognize if I hire Danny Ainge, I don't have a choice.
Yeah. I don't have a choice, so I can't tell him what to do.
I don't think Ryan hired Danny thinking, watch me bully Danny. This is going to be fun.
No, look at all Jerry Jones coaching hires. Everybody he hires is just, he can just bully him because he's the brains behind the
ability
operation.
To do that.
He wants to take the credit for it. Mm-hmm. Except for a brief period where he hired Bill Parcells, and it still didn't go well.
Correct.
Man, absurd that the Cowboys are still as popular as they are. They haven't won a dang thing since the late 90s. Think about that for a minute.
Would you even consider it the late 90s, the last time they won something?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when was Troy Aikman's last Super Bowl? It had to be like 97, 98.
Was it that late?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's been 20, almost 30 years now.
And they've been terrible. They haven't even been close. But Jimmy Johnson that was a brilliant hire. And then they just couldn't coexist. Jerry. Terrible owner. Not as bad as your guy Reinsdorf, but not far off.
And you know what? I bet a lot of owners look at Jerry and say, I wish I could do that.
What? Act like a buffoon and watch your franchise value just soar regardless?
Yeah, just make mistakes. Not even get all the credit, but just take the credit for any success that your team has. Jerry loves to take the credit for it. He'll occasionally pretend that he's modest about, the failures or will own a failure. But yeah, he loves to take all the credit. He loves to be the face of the organization. He loves to do all the radio shows. He loves to get in fights with people on the radio shows locally. He loves to own everything he can. He loves to have the biggest football stadium in the country. He loves all of that. He loves that it's called Jerry World. I bet you there are more owners who wish they were Jerry than don't. But I do think you're probably smarter off.
You mean have a company you can't screw up? That is literally impossible to screw up?
Yeah, you can't. We were talking about can't fall from grace. I mean, Jerry's about as close as you can to can't fall from grace.
Yeah, you can mismanage a football team for 25 years and still have the most valuable sports organization on the planet.
Right. So maybe he's the guy. We were talking about Tiger and Phil. They fell. Apparently Jerry can't.
You ever seen that video of his son-in-law cleaning his glasses?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's a smart son-in-law. That's how you land in the top spot when the old man croaks.
I'm sure Jerry loves that video. I'm sure that's one of Jerry's proudest moments.
Yeah, but you watch that show Succession on HBO.
Uh-huh.
Who eventually won? The bootlicky guy that just kissed the right backside.
Yep.
That Jerry Jones' son-in-law is a genius.
Yeah.
I'd clean those glasses. I'd do it. You do it too. Why do you think he married into that family?
Yes, that was not accidental.
No. You're going to clean some glasses, but you know what? I'm going to end up running the Cowboys.
Running the Cowboys for a little while.
You missed out on the Star down there at their center of operation where Big 12 Media Days was. It was a cool facility.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It wasn't at Jerry World. It was at their team facility, which has a big field and grandstands. Like they play high school games and stuff in it.
Better than Allegiant?
Well, that's why I'm saying it wasn't like a stadium.
Right.
Because Allegiant's so huge.
It's amazing.
It was nowhere near that big.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have more Jake and Ben. Hot Take Tuesday is coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Just doing it big, you know?
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you about Win Ticket Wednesday, your chance to win big every week on the station. This week, you can win a family 4-pack of tickets to go see Zach Bryan at Rice Eccles Stadium on August 7th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets today or listen all day tomorrow for your chance to win on Win Ticket Wednesday. All right, time for Hot Take Tuesday, where we're just spitting hot takes about whatever. I like it. Ben, do you want to start with your hot takes today?
Mine's World Cup related.
Okay.
Who is the third place game for?
What do you mean, who's it for?
France has to go play another game. France just suffered a devastating loss. Last World Cup game, well, not, I guess, the last World Cup game, but the last opportunity to progress in the World Cup for a lot of these guys. Every 4 years, maybe you're on the Olympic team in a couple of years, whatever, you go back to your home teams. But you're not competing for the title anymore. These guys have to go out and play a consolation game still for third place, and the loser gets fourth place. No one's happy about winning third place. I guess it's better than fourth technically, but you can win third place by having a better goal differential for the entirety of the tournament. If we're getting rid of ties in sports, if we're getting rid of it at this level, we don't need a consolation prize. We don't need a participation third place trophy. Now, look, bronze medal, I get it with the Olympics. I think there are certain places where I don't have a problem with it. I don't know if we actually need a game to decide third and fourth place.
There's money on the line, though, right?
Great. Give them money based on goal differential. Give them money based on how long they led during the World Cup or whatever. There are other ways to do it.
Are you usually the person who says they're not going to complain about watching more sports? Like having another game? Isn't that usually what are what else are you going to do? Turn it off? I mean,
that's generally been my thing, and
that's
evolving.
That's what you tell me when I complain about Summer League.
I'm evolving. Because I actually have another hot take that maybe speaks in the inverse of what I'm saying right now. But who's excited about the third place game? Is anyone in France today now gearing up, clearing their schedule to watch the third place game on Friday?
You get to watch two of the top teams in the world play.
Yeah, you get to watch the third and the fourth best team in the world play.
Well, this I don't think determines who's the third or fourth best or even the first or second best, honestly. But
I mean, that's quite literally what the game is supposed to do.
In this particular tournament.
Sure.
I mean, it's like saying that the NCAA tournament is designed to select the best college basketball team. Not really.
But you don't play a third or fourth place game in college basketball in the NCAA tournament.
I'd probably watch it if they did.
No, you wouldn't. You get eliminated in the Final Four. The next two teams have to play to figure out who's the fourth best team in college basketball.
That's what they do in the Olympics?
Oh, yeah. I get it a little bit for the Olympics. I'm not saying there's zero area where it has value, but even then, so much of it can be determined by what you've done to this point. You don't need now another game to decide third and fourth place. That's where I am on this. I don't need to see France play anymore. You had your chance. You should have won. You didn't win. The tournament is over for you, just like it was over for everybody else. Why third and fourth? Who cares? Why aren't we doing it for 7th and 8th, 9th and 10th? Well, how good was USA in this World Cup, or Canada, or Mexico? 15th? Nobody cares because you didn't win. Nobody cares about what France is going to do either. You going to hang a banner for third place at the World Cup?
Yeah, maybe.
You shouldn't.
If you were the U.S., you would.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you're basing things on what the U.S. would do in soccer.
Oh, but I mean,
how the rest of the world should treat it.
But outside of 4 or 5 countries, you absolutely would.
Maybe that's your problem.
You know, there's only like 4 or 5 countries that have ever won.
Uh-huh.
So getting third place would be pretty remarkable for like 95% of the planet. I don't know. I hear you, I guess. Get rid of it. You're not watching it.
I'm not watching it. I'll watch the championship game. It's also this weekend.
If it ends in a 0-0 tie like the last World Cup that was in the U.S. and goes to a shootout, I'm going to be very angry. Okay. I remember that game specifically. I was like, all right, I'll give this soccer thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch the final. I can't even remember who it was. Italy and somebody. 0-0. Yeah. Just the driest, dustiest game you've ever seen in your entire life. Okay.
No more third and fourth place game.
Christian, any hot take coming to mind?
This might be pretty reactionary from, just having like the hottest weekend in Salt Lake history. I do think this is the worst time of the year. It's just, the 4th of July is cool and great, but like it's to the point where between the hours of basically 8 to 8, you can't do anything outside. We're making a whole entire show out of Summer League. There's no fun sports on. The World Cup is fun, I guess, but that's, again, only
once every
4 years, right? So July and August are terrible. I think that's where I'm landing at. Worst 2-month stretch of the year.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a hot take. This is a take on the heat. It's an actual opinion about the heat outside.
I guess. I think there are a lot of people that enjoy the summertime.
I don't know if there's anyone who's like, you know what, best time of year, July 14th.
Well, your kids enjoy summer.
Yeah, they're not in school. But even they don't want to go outside. They just want to hide in the basement all day, which is where everyone wants to be.
That's why you need to kick them out.
Well, I have. Yeah, you get out of the house. You have to go be involved in things.
It's hot, Dad. I don't care. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is probably sports-wise, like we talked about before, this is definitely the dustiest time of the year. Mm-hmm. Even if you're super into Major League Baseball, they're on the All-Star break, but this is the worst time of the season for Major League Baseball where you're smack in the middle. You don't even have the excitement of the start of the season or the pennant race at the end. You're just in the blah.
Yep.
So, okay. Yeah.
July baseball, garbage. Yeah, no question. It's why they put the All-Star game right now.
All right, let's see. Which one of these do I want to do? All right, here's my hot take. It's really a shame when sports owners shake down the community for money.
It's not a hot take.
With the threat of moving the franchise.
Okay.
Here's the hot take. You got to comply. You have to. You absolutely have to. I don't want my taxes going up anytime soon. I don't want a special sales tax or hospitality tax or whatever to justify spending hundreds of millions and billions of dollars on facilities, all based on the threat of moving the team. That's how RSL got their building built down in Sandy. I mean, they threatened to move the team. But you can look at Seattle and say, oh, now they've been without an NBA team for a long, long time. But have you been following at all what's going on in Oakland with all their? So Oakland has lost the Warriors, the Raiders, and the A's.
Yeah.
All those teams played in one block. I don't know if you've been there, but it's all there in one place. The old Coliseum,
They had a sports
the
district.
Oracle, they had a sports district. And now the only one who plays there is the soccer team, and they have now announced that they're leaving. But there's a big controversy in Oakland where they're trying to sell this. They're trying to just get rid of it and sell it. And they had a buyer. The buyer missed their first payment, and now Oakland is talking about financing $60 million to prop up this deal just so they can get rid of their sports complex. So not only have they lost all the teams, and now they're paying, they're financing someone to take all of this off their hands. They are so SOL and in such a worse position as a community because they let these teams go. And I hate it, but they should have just complied. They should have built the Warriors a new facility. They should have built the Raiders a new facility. They should have. Oakland really, I don't know. I haven't been to Oakland in a long time. But I would guess that the community really valued and needed those things. And maybe they just couldn't come around to complying or whatever. But this is even worse for the community than trying to do whatever you can to keep the organizations would have been. I would guess.
I've read all the studies that say there's like zero positive economic impact for building a stadium in your downtown. You know, it was a big deal here a couple of years ago, whether to move the Delta Center out to the shops at Southtown or to keep them here and whatever. And everyone says, you look at every study, there's really no real sign that it has great growth for the businesses around because there's a sports team downtown. I believe what those studies have to say. But on the flip side, when Oakland loses absolutely everything, and Seattle starts to lose everything, and Tampa starts to lose everything, there's also an impact there. And there's a moral impact, and there's a community impact, and there is I don't want to say moral is the wrong word. There's a morale impact, you know, an ability for the community to have something to gather around, to root for, to have community as a part, to be a part of. I think when you lose that, that has a negative effect on communities that may not show up in your latest economic report, but basing everything purely on the economics of the world is not my favorite way to look at the planet. So I'm with you.
Well, call me jaded, nor do I believe those studies. I mean, who paid for those studies? What is the reason for those studies? And you cannot tell me that, like in the Delta Center's case, you cannot tell me that attracting 20,000 people to come downtown 40 times a year is somehow a net neutral or a net negative. I'm not buying it. And why are communities like Hammond, Indiana, doing everything they possibly can to get those facilities in their communities, which is, by the way, where the Chicago Bears are going to be? Because it's a big boon for their communities. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I hate it. And I hate the threats and that they're going to move or whatever, but the franchises have communities by the short hairs. It's just true. And complying is better than not. Build the facility.
Yeah.
It's what Buffalo just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's smart. Because the NFL, I'm telling you right now, would gladly move a team out of Buffalo, New York.
Yes, absolutely.
They'd be thrilled to move a team out of Buffalo, New York.
Correct.
But the Bills, how much money do you think the publicity that the Bills bring to Buffalo is worth every year?
What I don't even have an idea
of
what Buffalo population-wise, what its economic driver is, what its economy is based on. I don't know anything about it or its comp cities in the country. I have no idea. I know they have an NFL team, and that in itself, to your point, has a ton of value. It's an advertising machine. Everybody knows about Buffalo because they have an NFL team. The other city that is Buffalo, in every other state in the country that doesn't have an NFL team, you've never heard of. It doesn't matter. You don't care about. Nobody wants to go visit. Doesn't really have any name value if you value those types of things because they don't have an NFL team. And that's why, yes, you want to keep your teams. I'm totally with you.
I have one more hot take for you.
Okay.
All right. So we've followed the saga of Bill Belichick and his life partner, the adult novelty heiress Jordan Hudson. Mm-hmm. And we have followed the internal squabbling of the Belichick family. Mm-hmm. That the son, who's his defensive coordinator, and the daughter-in-law have been telling Bill that he's crazy and that there's been that tear.
That Hudson's bad news.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to really not like the sister-in-law too.
Okay.
So an arrest warrant was issued for her because she got caught speeding going 88 in a 70. And that is high enough in North Carolina to get you a reckless driving ticket, which means you have to show up in court.
Mm-hmm.
She elected not to show up in court, and then they issued an arrest warrant for her. And she just made light of it with a comment saying, I hired an attorney. And then another comment on another article saying, bad boy for life. Lady, just because your last name is Belichick doesn't mean that you don't get to show up for court after a traffic violation.
You've never done anything important.
You haven't done a dang
The
thing.
things your dad have done really don't matter in the long run.
You can't go 18 miles an hour over the speed limit.
You can't risk other people's lives going 90 in a 70. I don't know what to tell you.
And
I
then-
don't care who your dad coached in the NFL.
And then you have to show up to court when that happens. I'm sorry, but that's what the rest of us live under. And because your last name is Belichick doesn't mean that you get to make fun of that. That bothered me. I would have taken a comment where she said, "Oh, I totally forgot about it," and "Oh, I'm working hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything I could
blew it.
possibly do to get this taken care of. I didn't know my instructions or whatever." But to just make fun of it, come on, lady.
I think one of the flaws.
I'm with you. You didn't do a dang thing, lady.
I think one of the flaws, because of my binary brain, is when I see a figure that is, let's even see remotely controversial, which Bill Belichick has become a remotely controversial figure over the last 15 years in our lives, whether you felt like you had to choose between Bill Belichick or Tom Brady, or Bill Belichick or North Carolina, or Bill Belichick and his family, whatever it was, I did always feel inclined to pick a side.
Uh-huh.
And more often than not, what you realize is it's all toxic.
Just all terrible.
The entire community is toxic.
Uh-huh.
All the people are around them are toxic. They attract toxic people because they're toxic. Whoever they touch is toxic. But everyone is a part of it. Everybody is bad. And I don't mean everyone in the world. I don't think everyone in the world is bad. But when you're finding yourself in these situations, like saying, well, I probably have to choose a side here. You probably don't. And I think what you're laying out is a good example of it.
I don't know. That just bugged me. I mean, her Nepo baby husband is contractually obligated to be the next head coach at North Carolina for no doing of his own, but yet you're dining out on that by not showing up to court? Lame. Wrong.
Go to jail.
Belichick North Carolina should just fire Bill Belichick. And you know what? They should fire Mike Malone just because. Just, you know what?
Baby with the bathwater.
We've made a lot of bad decisions, so we're just going to
hit the reset button.
Reset it all.
Clean slate.
Mike's like, I haven't even coached yet.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Yeah.
You're out of here, pal. But my my girlfriend isn't even that obnoxious.
Doesn't matter.
We'll see you, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Have a good one. All right. Well, we've got a great audio vault next.
Okay.
You know what we're playing?
I don't.
Oh, it's
I'm
fantastic.
excited.
Oh, no, it's fantastic. You're going to love it. All right. More Jake and Ben straight ahead, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time for the audio vault. Before we get to that, though, let's get another qualifier for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. Be caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE, and we're going to assign you a golfer. If that golfer wins, you win a Copper Rock branded polo, outwear piece, a hat, a $100 gas gift card, all courtesy of our friends at Copper Rock, where the pros go to play. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Ben, you were not with us at Big 12 Media Days last week, but we did find out, thanks to Brian Santiago, actually, that Bear Bachmeier is a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And Santiago told this story about how he was meeting with his team, the athletic directors or what Associate 80s. And Bear just strolled in with his guitar and sat down and started strumming.
He's kind of notorious for going to old folks' homes, right? And
Does he do that too?
Kind of like charitable stuff.
I'm pro that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he and his brother Tiger were at let's see here, I want to get this right. We're at the Music Box, which is apparently a free concert at the Harrington Center for the Arts in American Fork. So Tiger and Bear and their uncle Don, took the stage and decided to perform. We have a couple of clips. Okay. And the reason Christian was playing Margaritaville there is apparently they did their own rendition. So here's Tiger and Bear strumming out Margaritaville.
Blew out my flip-flop, cut my heel on a Pop-Tart, had to head out early, cruise on back home, but there's booze in the blender, and soon it will render. Oh, that frozen oxygen that helps me hang on, oh, wasting away again in Margaritaville, searching for my lost shaker song. Well, some people claim there's a woman to blame, but I know it's Uncle Donald's fault.
How did they wrap that up?
It was Uncle Don's fault.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Margaritaville is an interesting choice.
I think I like that they picked Margaritaville. Did he say? Did they say they cut their foot on the Pop-Top, or did he say
Pop-Tart? They did a Pop-Tart remix.
Okay. So some things they're leaving out. I was like, oh, is this going to be themed because they weren't going to talk about the alcohol? And then they talked about how the blender was full of booze, and I thought,
yeah.
Oh no, they're not.
Well, cutting your
this.
heel on a Pop-Top isn't. Pop-Tart.
That doesn't make any sense.
Pop-Tart Bowl.
Okay.
They're shouting out the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Okay.
Stretch. Now, this next one we're going to play, is this just Bear Bachmeier? Okay, here's the quarterback.
And I know I'm a lucky man, but I ain't sure why I am. 'Cause it ain't like anyone deserves the world in the palm of their hand. Now I've hit my knees and thankfulness can't be, but the one thing that I can't get over is how a guy like me who'd have been fine with free wind up with 5-leaf clover. I have done its parked in the driveway.
They ended kind of abruptly there. You're not feeling it? That felt better to me than the Margaritaville.
Oh, I liked Margaritaville better.
It's a better song.
I like the duet, hanging out with your brother, singing together. Truthfully, I hate all of it. That's like my least favorite thing to walk into. Nothing will get me to leave an event or like an area quicker as if some dude whips a guitar out and is like, let's make this about me. It's about me singing.
I think that was the event, though.
I agree. I understand that. If I were to stumble into that, I'm turning around and walking out. I'm never purposely going to that.
You've never been to a concert in your life?
I've been to a concert. I've seen professional musicians perform. I've never signed up to go do that. That's great if you want to go do that at the old folks' home. The old folks need some entertainment. Great charity. Whatever this was for, there's nothing less out there for me than what I just listened to. And I accept that. That doesn't mean they don't get to do it. Go to town.
Sounds like you're not a big fan of it.
Correct. I'm not a big fan of it in the slightest. You can do it. You don't have to do everything for me. I will not be caught dead there.
We were in Heber for the 250, and they had a fun festival that we went to. And they had a bunch of amateur acts. get up and play and do their thing. And I will admit some were
better than the others,
a lot better than others, and so forth. But I got to say, I enjoyed it, and it does take a lot of courage to get up in front of people and to do that. If you're the BYU quarterback, you have a little bit more. You're going to have two bozos playing it on their radio show. I mean, that's going to happen. But I'm okay with it. I guess. I don't know.
I'm just saying it's
I
not
wouldn't
for
run
me.
out of there. I think that's why you go to those music festivals to see that sort of thing, right?
Where do you think Bear Bachmeier feels more pressure? Leading the game-winning drive or playing some tunes in front of a bunch of Ben Andersons?
Well, he's probably more comfortable playing football because he's better at football.
He's a better football player. No question about it.
No, I am a fine football player.
He's a great football player. Yeah, dude makes like $2 million a year playing football. Dude, no one's paying him any money to play his guitar.
Yeah.
That dude's killing it on the football field. Yeah, that's awesome.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, I would say he's probably more nervous playing music.
But
that would be my guess.
Who's our guy who owns the Dolan? James Dolan.
Uh-huh.
Cool, James. I'm glad you own Madison Square Garden. Very cool your father gave that to you. I don't need to ever pay $1 to watch you play love songs to anybody. That's moronic, you buffoon. So, no, I don't need to watch you do that, James Dolan. Cool that you can pay people to come hang out with you, to play music with you, Johnny Depp, Kevin Costner.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you like to perform. That's cool. That's in your DNA. I don't have to like it.
What? No, certainly not. What if it was a different hobby? What if he was like a belly dancer or something?
Sure, hula hoop guy. Whatever. I do. What are the aerial silks?
Or is this
Great.
specifically singing?
I think there is a little bit of the idea that because you can perform, you have to perform, that I disagree with.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't think he's going to get a recording contract anytime soon.
I was more charmed by Bronco Mendenhall singing 2 weeks ago with Coach Tim Lacombe for the high school fight song than I was at American Fork than I was Bear and Tiger's performance. I was more moved.
Moved?
Yeah. Spoke to me.
That's what they're aiming for, moving Ben. I don't know. It takes courage to do that. You ever done, I'm a terrible singer, but I've done karaoke before. It's nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them. But, yeah, they're probably better at football, sure.
Yeah.
A lot better at football.
Absolutely.
All right. Live at 5, coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for Live at 5. It's brought to you by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at trajanwealth.com. Ben, we are live. Currently in Vegas right now, the Brooklyn Nets lead the Sacramento Kings 58-34.
Great game.
Is this the worst basketball game ever played?
I mean, the Jazz Bulls game was pretty rough. And I don't mean the finals game where the Jazz scored 54 points. I mean the one where Jazz didn't play any of their summer league players, and still one of their two-way guys got hurt.
Ben, Sacramento has 34 points.
Huh? Well, earlier
today... It's the
today,
third quarter.
Earlier today, you missed it. Let me see if I can get the score here. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Houston Rockets, and 76ers managed, the Rockets beat the 76ers 90-64. The 76ers managed 8 points in the first quarter. So this might not even be the worst game today.
You and I, we both have a mutual interest in team building, and the way different NBA teams choose to do it. What is Brooklyn doing? Don't they have 15 point guards on their roster?
They do.
I mean, Yegor Dioman, he's going to have a nice summer league. Well, he's got to compete with they drafted 2 rookie point guards last year and another 2 this year?
They drafted 4 rookie point guards last year. They had
4?
5 first-round picks, and 4 of them were point guards that they drafted.
And then this year they picked another one, right?
And then they took, he's playing right now, Michael Brown.
What are they doing?
Yeah, it's a mess. No, so this is pertinent, and this goes back to 2 things. One, a hot take I did not get to. which was, while I said, who is this third and fourth place game for in the World Cup and we just shouldn't play it? The flip side, the inverse of that, because you called me out on it, which is I always just want more because I'm a dumb person and I just like to watch sports just because there's nothing else going on in my life. But I don't believe anyone's, quote, too good for Summer League. What do you mean you're too good for Summer League?
Mm-hmm.
If anyone actually believed that, you wouldn't be at Summer League. You know?
Right.
Someone doesn't think you're too good for Summer League. That's why you're there. Someone thinks this guy needs to get a lot better if he wants to make a living. And by the way, I think it's an honor to make a living in the NBA or whatever sport you play professionally. And if you have to go to the Summer League to get there, great. You should go and do it and not really whine about it. However, these are, yes, some truly miserable games, but we were talking to Auville earlier today from Washington. He covers A.J. Dybantsa, Washington Wizards, et cetera, et cetera. And he said he was happy that A.J. Dybantsa was getting shut down because A.J. has already shown enough at Summer League. I get if you were worried about injuries long term, and they can certainly happen, and the more you play, I guess the more prone you are to getting injured because you're actually on the court. But I don't think anyone's too good for Summer League. I want to see them out there. And you know what? If I'm A.J. Dybantsa, I'm so concerned about the horrendous organization I play for that the more I play and the more say I get to have in what's happening, I think the better. Because Washington, Sacramento, who we're watching right now, getting absolutely trounced by Brooklyn. The only thing you've proven is the more you're ingrained in the decision-making, the worse things are going to be. So I don't trust you to do this. In fact, if I think I'm a star, the way A.J. Dybantsa thinks he's a star, and by the way, I think A.J. is a star. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. I want to be out there. I'm gonna start fixing this myself. I'm going to start changing this culture on the hardwood in the Summer League if I have to, because what you're doing hasn't been good enough for a really, really long time.
Players don't think that way. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but players don't think that way. Why? What is? Because John came on with us and he justified it, shutting down A.J. Dybantsa because, I don't know, he covers the Wizards and he's close to it or whatever. Why would the Wizards shut him down? Why would the Jazz say you're done with Summer League to Darryn Peterson? Not sit him out on the second night of a back-to-back. Sure. And maybe the Jazz don't play him again. I don't know. I'm not.
And look, AJ does have a calf thing.
But
he hurt his calf against the Jazz, whatever it is. I think he played after that, though.
If I would want them to play every game to get the experience because they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is funny to me the stigma like, oh, above Summer League or done with Summer League, or, John said AJ showed everything he needed to show. Well, technically, AJ doesn't need to show anything. He needs to work on his game. He needs the time on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds like a justification not playing. Like, oh, he's shown everything. What's the point of him being down there?
No, I'm not trying to be...
It's not to show anything.
I'm not trying to be cornball guy either, to be honest with you. I think sometimes people get so self-serious about this. But, like, well, is AJ Michael Jordan? Does he not need to get better? He's done?
Every rookie needs to get better. That's my point.
AJ's done?
Yeah, right.
He's good enough? Great.
Yeah.
No. Darryn needs to be out there.
He needs to play. Cody
needs to play right now. Yeah, man. I get it. I get not wanting to play in summer. I was in the Jazz locker room last year, and I won't say the players because I don't think it was a conversation that was necessarily about sharing who the players were. And a couple of the guys I had asked, do you think you're going to be on the Summer League team? Do you think you're going to play? And they kind of said, not off the record, but just a natural kind of comfortable conversation. I hope not. I don't really want to spend my July practicing, having to be a part of it when I could be going and hanging out and watching. And I get, at a certain point, you don't want to still be doing Summer League. You feel like you've earned it. You've moved past it. But a lot of the guys who we pretend are too good for Summer League or don't need to be in Summer League are not too good for Summer League, including Darryn Peterson or A.J. Dybantsa or Cody Williams or Kennedy Chandler or whoever guys are who are, yeah, you're 26 years old. I bet it's not that fun to play in the NBA, the Summer League anymore. But if you're not in the league, and you're not obviously in the league, you're clearly not good enough to be out of the Summer League right now. So you should probably be there trying to get better. Again, not to be Mamba mentality guy, not to be the cornball while they're sleeping. I'm up doing push-ups or I'm working out. I'm getting up earlier than everybody. I think some of that stuff's really corny. But I do not, by any means, think we've seen enough from any of these rookies. Nor do I think it's actually possible for a rookie to show you enough to not have to play in Summer League in the NBA.
I actually don't. Yeah, I'm the person who doesn't care how they play. I don't read into any of that. but I do think it's important that they play, especially the rookies.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to send a third-year guy there to send a message and then message received and you let them go about their summer, that's maybe a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not one rookie that can't benefit from every minute of playing during the summer league. Quick change of topic, and we can come back to this, but they just showed Zach LaVine on the TV because we're watching the Kings game. What's he doing there? He's just sitting there watching, right? Usually veterans that have a future with the team will make an appearance as kind of like I'm supporting the young players and the rookies and that sort of thing. The Kings have got to be trying to get rid of Zach LaVine as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be on the team long term. They're not building around him. They probably don't want his influence on the young players. Why on earth is Zach LaVine there?
Yeah.
There's a guy who should be on vacation.
Correct. Living it up.
Go live the dream. Zach, you are on a crazy deal for what, another year?
He just opted into his huge $49 million deal, I think.
You know where I wouldn't be? Not a chance I'd be watching the Kings in Vegas. I'd be like, listen, you guys call me if you trade me before camp.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, nice of him to go and try and pretend he's supporting the team. But they can't wait to get rid of him.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want him around.
No, not at all. So why would he be there?
Why would he be there? Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm with you.
The Kings pay DeMar DeRozan to go away. Now they're trying to get off Zach LaVine, and should, by the way.
Do you believe a player can be good enough to change the culture of a team?
Be more specific.
Do you think Michael Jordan was so good that he by himself was the reason the Bulls stopped being what we don't recognize the Bulls at? Well, actually, we do, because the Bulls have been absolutely dreadful since Michael Jordan left.
Uh-huh.
But
yes.
They were the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings that we are making fun of right now, or the Washington Wizards that we make fun of, are exactly what the Chicago Bulls were before Michael got there in the late 70s and then in the early 80s before Michael got drafted. And Michael was so good that seemingly he changed things, or at least that's the storyline, that he changed things by himself. Can AJ change the Washington Wizards? Can Zach Wilson change the New York Jets? No, I know that Zach Wilson did not.
Not the Jets.
I know that Zach Wilson
Nobody
did
can
not.
fix the Jets. That's just doomed. So let's take them off the... my answer to you is yes. But I where you've got my mind kind of cranking is, does it matter how good you are, or does it just matter that you're the best player? I believe in basketball, and we could talk about other sports, it's probably a little different, but in basketball, you have to fall in line with the best player. So if Michael Jordan is going to be the guy that works so hard and is punching teammates and is super demanding and all this stuff, guess what? Those other teammates have to fall in line, and then you have your culture change, right? Mm-hmm. The best example of it, I think, is Tim Duncan. Is because Tim Duncan was willing to get yelled at by Greg Popovich, that meant everybody had to be yelled at by Greg Popovich. But if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play defense, it gives the rest of the team the excuse not to play defense. Mm-hmm. So does that have to do with they're so good they change it, or could any best player on a basketball team change it? Am I making sense?
Yeah, absolutely. No,
or am I talking in circles in my own head?
I think you're asking the question better than you're asking the same question I am. I think you're doing a better job of it, actually.
Because I bet
it's a little bit the chicken or the egg. Does the organization finally have to make enough changes around the player that the organization is no longer what it once was when Michael Jordan came in? Or was Michael Jordan so good that everything was going to change naturally?
It was going to change naturally because of his gravitas, right? Phil Jackson didn't change the culture of the Bulls. He enabled Michael Jordan to do it. Greg Popovich gets a ton of credit for the culture with the Spurs, but no, Tim Duncan did it.
Correct.
If Karl Malone calls you fat in training camp, you have to do something about it, which he did to Greg Ostertag. Called him fat in training camp, and Tag had to get into shape. But Tag couldn't push back and go, shut your pie hole, Karl.
Correct.
Whereas if Luka Doncic called somebody fat coming into camp, it would have zero credibility. You know, if Walker shows up a little portly and Luka Doncic says, "Hey, you got to come into camp in
Fewer
better
beers,
shape,"
my guy.
Yeah, Walker's going to say, "Whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it first?" The reason Michael could demand so much from his teammates is because he did it himself. Michael Jordan was a two-way guy who was always a worker and he was always a practice player, and he demanded it out of all the teammates. And guess what? You had to fall in line. Even Dennis Rodman had to fall in line because the best player set the tone.
Yeah.
And Michael was way more stable than Scottie. Scottie Pippen, who always wanted to be the number one, would not have set the same tone as Michael Jordan. He was in the same conversation as a player, believe it or not. Scottie Pippen was great, but he would not have set the same tone as Michael Jordan. Kobe set a tone for the Lakers, which I think was more prevalent in his last two titles than it was his first three, but he set a tone with that team. He got a lot out of loose cannon Lamar Odom and loose cannon Andrew Bynum because they didn't have another choice.
Correct.
They had to do it because it was Kobe's opinion that mattered. I've always said that I would absolutely bend over backwards not to ask my star player about personnel moves, because you either have to listen to them or you either have to tell them that they're wrong.
Correct.
Now, when it comes to practice and setting a culture internally, that's where I want the input of my best players.
Yes.
Not
on draft night.
Not on draft night, not during free agency, not at the trade deadline.
Right.
But when it comes to, hey, we need to do this at practice and we need to practice this and I need to set the tone for what I expect from my teammates. Yes, those players can absolutely change the direction of even the worst franchises.
So while I do think the reason AJ is being shut down is he has this calf injury and they're being extra cautious with it, which I do agree is probably the right thing to do. You know, losing AJ for a season to a long-term calf strain, which, you know, the best indicator that you're going to have future calf strains is prior calf strains, and you're just going to keep getting them. See it all over the NBA right now. If that's the reason they're shutting him down, fine. But to your point, yes, I don't need AJ's thoughts on who the Wizards should draft next year with the 7th overall pick. But I do love if AJ's there at the building at 8 a.m. and everyone else comes in and says, well, he's the second highest paid, I guess third highest paid player on the team next year, and he's obviously the face of the franchise, and he's here. What's my excuse? That's where I do want his value. And where a player, I think, can change some of the outcome of an organization.
Would the Rockets have been better if James Harden set a better tone?
Yes, no question.
Yeah, it's tough to set the tone that we're going to do whatever it takes to win when you're leaving everybody stranded on the bus because you stayed out all night at the burlesque show.
Yes. Karl Malone is and was a lunatic. Untrustworthy narrator. Maybe just a bad guy. He came back and was a better basketball player every single year of his career.
Yep. Set the tone and everybody else had to live up to it.
So you had to follow.
Yep.
So when you got a cancer in the locker room, a la Mark Jackson, it didn't work. Actually, that cancer was exposed pretty quickly and run out of town.
So who sets the tone in Washington? Trae Young.
That's a problem.
Yeah, because A.J. Dybantsa is not going to think he has to play any defense.
So I think that goes back to the root of this situation, which is A.J. may be good enough, may have the talent to single-handedly turn around an organization, which has mostly been a disaster. What did we decide for the last 36 years?
More.
Since they last won 50 games?
Oh,
was it 1978?
It was 79, I think. Yeah.
So...
No, but he's not going to be allowed that role. That's my point. He might be the best player on the team today. I kind of doubt it. But he's not going to be given that role in the locker room. He's not going to be given the authority to change a dang thing.
That's where the problem is. It's not if AJ demands now that the bus leaves at 8 a.m., that practice starts early, that it has to start so early guys can't go out the night before. It's that the organization right now, left to its own devices, empowers the wrong things and the wrong people, even if AJ's the right guy to turn it around. Even if he has all the momentum and all the wind at his back and more power than any other player will have in the NBA right now as a number one overall pick in a very good draft that everyone believes is going to be a superstar, if the Wizards keep empowering the wrong people around him, it doesn't matter how good AJ is.
Watch, and I brought this up a bunch of times. It's not even that great a documentary, but because they leave a lot out. But watch the Gilbert Arenas Washington Wizards documentary, and it will not be a shock to you that a gun showed up in the locker room. It won't surprise you at all.
Yeah.
The tone that was set when Gilbert Arenas was the best player on the Wizards, it's not shocking that something like that would happen.
Like that?
If Larry Bird were the best player on the team, a gun doesn't show up in the locker room. Or Michael Jordan. Or even Magic Johnson was a gifted leader early in his career. You know, those sort of things don't happen because they're not – it's unspoken that
I can't remember who I was talking to.
It's going to be a serious place to work.
I was waiting outside of Will Hardy's pregame press conference last season. I don't remember if I was talking to Sarah or if Andy hadn't left yet, if I was talking to Andy, who it was. But Ferrell came over. And Ferrell came and was just the nicest guy and said hi to everybody. And I said, Ferrell, did you ever see a gun in the locker room? And he said, are you crazy?
Yeah.
It's like, that's not, there are probably guns. There are probably more guns in locker rooms than people recognize. People are not waving guns around in locker rooms. That is not happening. Guys might keep it in their car. Guys might have one in their bag. Whatever. They're not waving them around.
No.
You have to be unhinged to get to that point where your locker room has both Javaris Crittenton and Gilbert Arenas in there, both bringing guns and pulling them on one another in a locker room or on a plane. That is a level of insanity that even the best players probably can't fix that culture. And that's what I worry for AJ.
I remember when Jerry Sloan had to step in and be the adult when, what was that incident happened in Portland with
Brewer and Millsap.
Brewer and Darryn Williams, I think was. Anyway, I'm not trying to slander anybody, and but the Jazz had to. What did they do? They had to outlaw.
They had to have a curfew.
They had to have a curfew, and I'm trying to remember what else. I think did they take away gambling on the plane? They had to take away cards on the plane or stuff. I mean, that all that stuff internally is set by the players.
Yes.
How you practice, how you perform, what's expected of you on a nightly basis, it's all set by the players. Even right down to, you want to fix load management, honestly, have the star player never miss a game. You wonder why all those Jazz players, were tough right alongside John and Carlos, because that was the expectation that was set. You know, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George collectively missed basically their entire career with the Clippers because that's the expectation that they set.
They set the tone.
They set it.
And everyone followed suit.
And what was particularly bad about that one is the rest of the team would figure out how to play without him, and then they'd step in and say, hey, guess what? It's all about me again. And the rest of the team would be like, what are you talking about, dude? We've been doing this for months. Where you been? You've been in Palm Springs or something. This stuff matters more than you would think. And having a best player set the tone internally is absolutely a key to success. What your best player does and how they comport themselves.
Carry themselves, whatever, yeah.
100% matters.
It is overall very good for the station that David James shows up every single day.
Minus coffee in the morning.
Yeah. Right? But DJ has set a culture, and I'm not saying DJ's, the only culture setter here. There are a lot,
I get your point.
DJ shows up every day. And so everyone else shows up every day.
Yeah, shows up giving his best.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick too. I mean, it does.
And they've been doing it. They're here longer than anyone else has been here. They've hit their 20-year anniversary several years ago now. Probably at 25 now. Got to be close. And that has been good for everybody.
If PK were still coming in here on bath salts, it'd be a problem.
Correct.
But he got that problem licked.
Correct.
Got that behind him.
Right.
Some zany shows, and then now it's cool. No, I've had, in the 20 whatever years I've worked here, we've gone through several different cultures. I mean, we've been owned by 4 different companies. But I mean, some of the stuff we got away with in the early years, we'd never get away with today. And that's not the culture we've created as a station.
Yep.
Which is a good thing. Because I'd be worried about what Christian was doing on Saturday if it was the way I was when I was coming up.
Right.
Bad news. But Christian's an adult and does a good show.
Correct.
Christian's going to be on remote this week. Did I hear that?
The ballpark at America First
Oh,
Square.
fun.
That's going to be awesome.
Did you go out there for the Christmas party?
I was not able to make it last year. I was tied up. So I actually have not been to the ballpark yet.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm really excited.
It's really cool.
They really did do a great job.
Yeah.
You know what I love about it? There's no line. They've set up their concessions, kind of rethought the concessions or whatever. Not going to stand in line for a dang second.
Great.
All right. Stay tuned and listen to the Saturday show every Saturday, 10 to noon. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The SynchroWave 212 from Miller is making TIG welding more approachable than ever. AutoSet takes the guesswork out of getting started by automatically adjusting your weld parameters. An intuitive graphic interface means less time setting up and more time under the hood. And the optional water cooler keeps you welding longer. Whether you're a welding expert or just getting started, the Miller SynchroWave 212 lets you tackle more with TIG.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Open Championship is this week. That means it's time for the Copper Rock Open Championship giveaway. Let's get another qualifier right now. Caller 12-801-575-ZONE. If you're caller 12, we're going to assign you a golfer in the top 25 of the field of the Open Championship. One listener will get the remainder of the field. If your golfer wins, you win a Copper Rock branded polo, an outwear piece, a hat, and a $100 gas gift card. It's all courtesy of our friends at Copper Rock, where the pros play. Brooklyn still leading Kansas City. Not Kansas City, the Kansas City Kings. That's a long time ago. Sacramento. 86-63. Wow, where did that come from?
Brains are a weird thing, man.
When was Sacramento the Kings last in Kansas City? It had to be the early 80s, the late 70s.
Was it that? Yeah, was it even the 80s?
When did the Kings?
I wasn't alive.
From Kansas City. Hold on. 1985.
Okay, yeah, I was not quite.
That
alive.
was actually more recent than I would have thought. Kansas City to Sacramento in 1985. I wonder why Sacramento.
You know what? Bad beat for Kansas City. That's on par with Seattle to Oklahoma City.
Oh, to lose a team to Sacramento?
Yeah, as Kansas City, which at the time, the Midwest was flourishing, I would imagine, in the United States. To lose a team to Sacramento, which is still not one of the destination towns.
But would Kansas City actually want the Kings? Does anybody want the Kings? Does Sacramento want the Kings?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
They did fight hard to keep them and find a new owner, but it turns out the new owner is just as bad as the old ones. It's rough.
As we talked about with the Belichicks.
But you know what?
Sometimes everyone's just
isn't
talking.
Kansas City a bad sports town? I mean, in all honesty, like the Chiefs are a good team and well supported, but the Royals have
mostly been a joke. They have won World Series. But mostly been a joke.
And even the Chiefs ownership group is considered kind of crappy, right?
It's the worst arena in the NFL, I believe.
So, I guess they support the Jayhawks, but I don't know. Maybe they couldn't wait to get out of Kansas City because it's not a great, maybe pro sports town. I don't know. I mean, have you been to Kansas City? I've been a bunch of times. It's great.
Driven through.
It's a fun town, but I don't know. The Royals were good for 10 seconds in the 2011 and 12.
Mm-hmm. They won a World Series and
went to another. Is that right? Does that sound right? And for the rest of us, just been garbage. Mm-hmm. Although George Brett running on and freaking out about the pine tar might be the coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that video?
Of course.
So I don't know. Does Kansas City really miss the Kings?
Have the Kings done anything for Sacramento?
Well, I don't know. The cowbell era was kind of cool.
They lit the beam for a season?
No, the beam, that was... You can't come up with a gimmick when you win when you're terrible. The beam is a recent addition.
Yeah, and people like the beam.
They
finished with the third best record in the West, and they got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, and they went immediately back to irrelevancy.
Well, they fired their coach, who just won a championship. And, well, you know what? Sacramento is just a culmination of bad decisions. And even when a rebuilding team tries to turn it around, it's funny, they end up right back where they started. I mean, how many times has Sacramento, do you think, in the last 20 years been like, okay, the rebuild is over, let's go?
6 or 7 times.
And it's never worked?
Which means they've started 6 or 7 new rebuilds in that 20 years?
Period of time. Yeah.
And your rebuild never ends quicker than 3 years. I mean, that just means that's quite literally the perpetual rebuild.
It's the danger of the cycle.
Yeah.
Phoenix was in the perpetual rebuild forever until they found Devin Booker, and then even now they're kind of back to it.
It's been the theme of this show, certainly. We've been joking about the Summer League and a little bit of its unwatchability at times, and A.J. Dybantsa has been shut down now, is not going to play for the Wizards the rest of Summer League, and I'll be curious if we see Darryn Peterson or Cody Williams or Ace Bailey. Ace's back thing is certainly contributing to why he's not playing. But, you know, can Caleb Wilson, who's looked very good at times, did not look great against the Jazz, can he turn around the Bulls, which are, outside of Michael Jordan, maybe the worst organization in the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
And can, you know, the other top picks going to not traditionally great organizations outside of the Jazz, which are one of the steadier organizations in the NBA, though never reach the peak, can those players step in and change the outcome? I don't know.
No.
I kind of don't think so.
I don't. Like, honestly, I don't. We joked about the Jets, but is there any singular? If Tom Brady went to the Jets, would he be considered the GOAT? No, because he never would have won. I don't know. It's funny, but you make a good point about Michael Jordan because Reinsdorf has forever been terrible. I mean, even look at Jerry Krause. He was a baseball guy. Mm-hmm. He hired his general manager off of his baseball team. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, Krause, I think, was a little better than people remember. But, yeah, horribly run franchise that just got lucky. Yeah, I agree with that.
You look at...
Dallas has been terribly run, and they ran into Cooper Flagg. It's going to cover up a lot.
Yeah, I'm curious how much it actually covers up. I really am. Dirk covered up a ton. Dirk and Mark Cuban combined together to overcome all of the nonsense that was Dallas through my childhood. Just a disaster of a program for a decade in the 90s.
But the owner in that case did a good job. At least Mark Cuban did well in the beginning. I would argue that toward the end he was not a very good owner. But that's just my opinion. But in Reinsdorf's case, he's always been terrible.
Are you more likely to change the trajectory of your franchise with a new owner or with a new player?
More likely? Owner.
It's kind of depressing if you're a fan.
How's that?
Well, you can get players. You can win the draft lottery. There's no reason you ever have to lose Jerry Jones as your owner. If Jerry Jones wants to run the Dallas Cowboys into the ground for 30 consecutive years, he gets to. Jerry Reinsdorf is the perfect example of this. Mm-hmm. He just hates sports, apparently. I'm a White Sox fan. This is like a time they should be going out and trading for pitchers, and they're good. They've got a great offense, got a fun bunch of young players on the roster. They should be trying to win. And I don't trust Jerry Reinsdorf to make those good decisions. But they can get the number 1 overall pick. They just drafted Rock Chalowski with the number 1 overall pick a couple of days ago. They signed Munetaka Murakami out of Japan, and he's an all-star and was in the home run derby last night. They have all these fortunate, good things happening to them on the player front. But because Reinsdorf is such a bozo, it may not matter.
So if you have a good player, you can win with a bad owner. And if you have a good owner, you can not win despite having a good owner. So I'm trying to think through your question, like which is more important or which can be more effective. And I still think owner, and my evidence would be maybe the Utah Mammoth. That if you have an owner willing to invest in the team, you can change your fortunes pretty quickly because of the resources given to the team. Right, the owner of the Coyotes was lacking, to say the least, and the owner of the Coyotes' unwillingness to invest in the team led to a bad ice product. Right, you take basically that entire franchise, move it to Salt Lake, give an owner who cares and who has resources that they're going to pour into it, and they're in the playoffs in 2 years.
If you drop David Pastrnak, 8th best player in the NHL, on the Arizona Coyotes, is that going to have a greater impact on the culture of that team or the future of that team than Morello selling the team to Ryan Smith? The answer is probably not.
No.
You're better off having Ryan Smith buy your team with the same players than dropping the 8th best player on the planet onto the roster.
Yeah, I think so. But Robert Sarver went to the playoffs with the Suns, or went to the finals with the Suns because he had Devin Booker. And Robert Sarver may be, amongst the worst owners to
Bottom
ever
10
exist
owner in the NBA.
in NBA history. Yeah. The Clippers are the Clippers because they were owned by Donald Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
But now the Clippers are an interesting case because they have an owner willing to invest resources and they still suck.
Yeah.
It's not just resources. It's what you do, too.
It's clearly, it's not binary. It just can't be one or the other. You probably need to have two things pulling in the right direction.
Yep.
You need to have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and also a really good owner in Oklahoma City, even though I know people don't. It's still Clay Bennett, right? Or did he sell the team?
No, it's still, or is he deceased? I'd have to look into it.
But
no,
have reasonable ownership.
Right.
Reasonable investment. The Spurs, we were talking about Greg Popovich setting culture. Well, really, it was actually Tim Duncan's ability to take it. The Spurs also have really good ownership. Now, you don't know who they are, and that's one of their strengths. No, they keep their head down for the most part. That's been smart for them. They didn't need to go out there and try to be Jerry Jones. That wouldn't have benefited them. They've learned how to own the team in that city, and then they got the right players, and that, that combination, that alchemy, really churned out some gold.
It is Clay Bennett, by the way.
Still Clay.
Still Clay.
Still kicking.
Not popular in Seattle.
No.
I wonder who's less popular in Seattle, Clay Bennett or Howard Schultz? Howard was the one who sold
it. Yeah. Are you more in trouble for stealing the gold or allowing the gold to be stolen?
Starbucks for sure.
You think Howard Schultz is less popular than Clay Bennett?
I would think so.
I would bet on it. Yeah, I would think so too. All right, we'll get to voicemails coming up next. Leave your voicemails. Download the KSL Sports app and record your message for the show. Say, this is for Jake and Ben. We'll get to some coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
On the under $3 menu at McDonald's, a McChicken is $2. Because when you're craving a McChicken, you deserve a McChicken. And now that McChicken is just $2 with McValue.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
You know what they say, 4 wheels move the body, but 2 wheels move the soul.
Poetry, mate.
But don't think my motorcycle or my soul will be moving anytime soon. Got a flat tire.
Ah, that's all right. You ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance and got their 24/7 emergency roadside service. They'll get you back on the road.
Ah, beautiful saying. You come up with that?
It's not a saying. It's a Geico motorcycle policy.
Tomato, tomato.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico. Emergency roadside service is optional coverage.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast.
An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airwaves, talking sports. They got it made, Jake's and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my.
Hey, love listening to Jake and Ben. I loved your guys' Scooby-Doo imitation today. You were talking about the Jazz and you said it depends on what role he's given. Or did I misinterpret that? I thought you said what role? What role?
Wow, Case, I didn't see that coming.
I'm glad people have fun with the show.
Roll.
What role?
What roll? Roll.
I'm glad people listen closely enough to make it fun for themselves. I don't know if I always make it fun for everybody. I try. I'm glad people left to their own devices still make the show better.
Well, we were talking about how, speaking of devices, how streaming and podcasting and listening over the radio can all be complementary. Our friend Mike sends this in on the Talk Snap, says, I listen to radio most, but then stream based on where I'm working that day. Totally. Mm-hmm. Make it fit. Take Jake and Ben with you wherever you go. You can do it in the car on the radio or podcasting, or in this case, streaming, depending on where he's at.
Yep.
I want to remind you that Tim and Scotty G are going to be out at the Bar Dub Grill coming up tomorrow. That's in Nephi, just off exit 222. They're going to be on location doing their show from 10 until 2. By the way, Yegor Dioman has 22 points.
He's been great. He looks really good. You know what I'm glad? He's playing.
Yeah,
he's not too good for Summer League.
He needs to play.
You know what? Yegor is not quite figured out how to become prime Magic Johnson yet. So he should still be trying to get better, I think, in my humble opinion. And he is getting better, and that's awesome. That rules for Brooklyn.
You think Yegor's going to be Magic Johnson?
No, but...
That's a high bar.
If he is Magic Johnson, I'll understand why he decided he's too good for Vegas Summer League in year 2. Until then, though, I don't mind him getting out there and playing and improving himself.
Brooklyn probably hopes he shoots a little better than Magic
Not
Johnson.
shooting. Oh, yeah. Well, he shot very well as a rookie.
Kind of. Didn't Locke take some of the shine off that for us? That he had a hot month or whatever that made it look a little bit better than it was? I don't know. Brooklyn's one of those franchises which is going nowhere, too. Horribly run.
Mm-hmm. Yegor today, by the way, right now has 20 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 5 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 3 from 3. Not a great three-point shooting performance, but 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Reminder, you get your 1 free throw counts as 2 attempts.
Oh, yeah, which some people are talking about they're going to put that into the league.
I hope they do.
Oh, you're crazy. Oh, we talked about that while you were gone. That just, hey, I don't like watching.
I know you love 3.5-hour NBA games.
No. I brought this up that, hey, I'm no lover of free throws by any means, but it does feel like you're messing with the integrity of the game with a rule, because there is pressure on both free throws. Why should you get? And I get the logic that it evens it out. It evens itself out. It comes out in the wash, but I feel like you're messing with like one of the basics. Like that is much more revolutionary than a pitch clock in baseball.
I am less romantic about the idea that we're probably doing everything right now than the alternate could be. Now, that doesn't mean you should monkey with everything. I don't agree with that. You have to be careful of cats in the wall. I think this is a true cat out of the wall.
I'm not so sure. And it's only, somebody did the math on it. The average would be like 4 or 5 minutes saved. Honestly, getting rid of replay would do the same thing and more.
Yeah, get rid of replay also. I'm all for speeding up the games.
Well, I would prefer they start with replay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have an action-packed 6 o'clock hour for you. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
With Squarespace, you can do more than just build a website.
you can build a business. Squarespace helps restaurants and hotels showcase signature offerings and experiences. And with Squarespace, consultants and photographers can create invoices to collect well-earned payments. You can even send email newsletters to keep in touch with your loyal customers. Done. So grow your business at squarespace.com. Get started with offer code MAKEITREAL for 10% off your website or domain.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, I'm surprised you made it all the way through the show. You had a real emotional reaction to France losing today. Ben was upset. I haven't seen him like that, beside himself.
Told you I'm on seizure medication, and apparently there's a thing called Kepler rage where you get really angry about things. So, yeah, I lost my mind for a few minutes over Mbappe not getting a shot on goal in the biggest game of his life, but...
Ranting and raving about the penalty call.
Move forward.
That Spain got.
Move forward.
Hey, they're doing a shot going down the strip. We're watching Summer League and going down the strip in Vegas. How could you not like Vegas?
What's there to like?
The lights, the sounds, the atmosphere, the things to do.
It's so funny because you hate light and sound in the city of Salt Lake. You love it when it's not in your home.
Oh, yeah, sure. Like visiting somewhere. I'm glad that exists somewhere, but not where I live. Yeah, sure. I don't know if I would want to live in Vegas. Visiting Vegas is all right.
Okay.
Although, you know what? I'll tell you what I absolutely do not like about the Strip. This is why I hang out on Fremont Street.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to walk just down the block, they now wind you in and out of every casino, and you've got to walk 4 miles just to get from one casino to the next. Gone are the days. Do you remember we could just walk down the Strip on the sidewalk? You can't do any of that anymore.
Correct. You and I went to Big 12 Media Day 2 years ago when it was in Las Vegas. And I walked from our hotel, which is on the other side of the Strip from Allegiant Stadium. So there was our hotel, Allegiant Stadium, the Strip. I don't know what direction it's headed, but whatever. It took me 45 minutes to, A, get across the freeway, which runs parallel to the Strip, right?
And that's not a great intersection either. Yeah.
And then you can't cross anywhere. And then, yes, you can't just say, like if I were to go from North Temple and State Street to 4 South, Temple, let's say City County building, you just go in a straight line. You never have to cross the road. You stay on one sidewalk the entire time. Vegas does not let you do that anymore.
No.
You have to weave and go up corners and take escalators and down stairways. And I did that to go try and get a spicy chicken sandwich on the Strip, and it took 2 hours. And it was 1 billion degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as walkable. I mean, you could argue it was never walkable, but especially now.
It's less so than it ever has been.
Less walkable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Summer League rolls on. When does Summer League end? Next Monday?
This weekend. I think the championship game is Sunday. Everyone plays 4 games, I believe. 5 games? Maybe it's 5.
Then they're all ready to get out of there about the
Everyone
end.
plays 2, and they're like, geez, Louise.
And they're staying at pretty nice places. They're not
The best
staying
places,
at the Howard Johnson, the Hojo. Is
no,
that still a thing?
But if you're ever going to go the first weekend. If you're a fan, go the first weekend. The young players are excited to be there. A bunch of NBA guys are there. It's not Zach LaVine looking depressed sitting sideline like this.
Again, why is he even there?
I don't know. But, yeah, go early. Everyone's excited. These rookies are making their debut. They got a little money in their pocket for the first time. Everyone's really excited, probably willing to take some photos. You get a week in, and these dudes are cooked. Everybody's cooked.
They're hot and hungover.
Want to go home? Yeah. They don't have any money anymore. They're not excited about playing in the Summer League. They recognize why nobody wants to be there. Yeah. So get there early.
All right. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Wednesday. It's Jake and Ben Show, 97.5
Thanks, Christian.
KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.